Live?
That's Saturday, but I can
Okay.
So I was diet for oh wow, and oh wow. Last 3 months. I spent 4 years late. So that's my favorite much leadership. I should just last year fighting my
We're good to go? Is someone testing the audio? Oh, could we quiet down in the front, please, for a moment? How does the audio sound to you guys, to the stream? If anybody has a stream pulled up, we're good. Oh, okay, cool. Welcome, everybody, to the Canada Demo Day. So we're really happy to put this together for all the Canadians that have submitted to the Global Coliseum Cypherpunk Hackathon. And today we'll be presenting at least 10 Canadian teams that have been selected to present in front of our wonderful judges. We do have 5 wonderful judges, 2 of which are here with us in person, 3 online, and the teams presenting will be a mix of online and in person as well. Please stay tuned. We're streaming to X and Twitter, or sorry, X and YouTube at the same time. If you want to take a look at home or share it with any of your friends or interested parties. I think that's basically it. I think what we'll start is if you're able to pull up the judges into the stream, Ben, then we can have the judges introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about the background. Then we'll get started with the first team quite quickly. The format is the team will have 3 minutes to present, maybe 3 minutes and 30 seconds. They can go a little bit over. And each judge will have about 3 to 5 minutes to give their feedback or ask any questions to the team about their product or service. In total, about 15 to 20 minutes per team, about 10 teams. So we have about 3 hours scheduled with a few breaks in between for water breaks. Any last questions from the room? Did I hit everything?
You did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to Super Team Canada and Solana for supporting this. Up first, we'll start with the judges' introductions. We need to mic you up, actually.
Simon, could I just say, I haven't got my email yet. Just sign
Let's
it.
go.
You'll pass it.
Oh,
Start. I think
Go with me.
we're good.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Mert Guler. I'm in the excite. Oh, come up here. Okay. All right. Great. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Oh, it's coming. I'm Mert Guler. I'm in the very advanced, exciting field of insurance and risk advisory. And I'm the old guy. I'm like a grandfather in this world and just trying to learn something new and teach this old dog new tricks. So I'm really excited to learn and just be part of this. Thanks very much for letting me be here. You're the young guy, bud. You're the good-looking young guy.
Yeah, there you go. How you doing, everyone? I'm Max Solomons. I'm a deal lawyer at Castle Sprock and Blackwell. I specialize in private M&A and blockchain and digital assets, working pretty much across a variety of different blockchains, Solana included. Certainly very excited to hear the pitches today and provide feedback to the great teams that are coming out.
Cool. Yeah. There's a couple online.
AB's online.
Okay. Are they able to introduce themselves? And I think the audio should be working from the StreamYard to here. Hopefully it's not too delayed. I don't know how that's going to work.
I think it's working all right, so I'll go ahead. Hey everyone, this is Amaldini. I am from a tech background and I have been running few ventures across last 8 years and 3 startups and a company. And I am pivoting into a community building role with DMC and TBDC. So yeah, I am pivoting into a community building role with DMC and TBDC. So yeah.
Oh no, we're having a bit of echo feedback. Sorry, everybody, some audio issues. Just figuring it all out here. Thank you, Amy, for the introduction. I think we do have Oh God, can you turn that audio off, Ben?
So Ben, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm Ben. I'm with DV Chain. We're trading, liquidity provider, OTC desk, and a bit of investing. We've been active in the crypto space since 2016, and have been involved in a few different accelerators and similar programs. Very excited to see what everyone's presenting today. And accelerators and similar programs. Very excited to see what everyone's presenting today.
Hi everyone, good to see you all. Sorry I can't be in Toronto today, but Sean Stapley calling in from Montreal. I'm one of the partners at Penrose. We do digital asset consultancy and protocols and roles across the space. Myself, I've been in the space for about 9-10 years now. Part of the team that leads Stand with Crypto Canada, so really excited to see a few familiar faces. And overall looking forward to seeing what's presented today for about 9-10 years now. Part of the team that leads Stand with Crypto Canada, so really excited to see a few familiar faces. And overall, looking forward to seeing what's about next year.
Cool. Thank you for the introductions. Good to have you, judges. Let's get started with the first team. I believe the first team up is Zishan with Asset Wave. Zishan, if you could join us on the stage on the stream, that'd be great. We can test your audio and video and get into your 3-minute pitch.
Oh, testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you sound good.
The presentation?
Oh, it's just seeing if it's playing here. Oh. Audio coming through. Hopefully audio is coming through.
The physical backbone of every organization is hardware, from servers and switches to wireless nodes and industrial controllers. But managing these assets, most companies are still using spreadsheets and have no real-time visibility into asset health. They can't prevent failures, only react to them. And when it comes to compliance and custody verification, it's an audit nightmare. We're AssetWave, a mobile-first enterprise asset management platform redefining how organizations track, maintain, and optimize their real-world hardware. Asset management is about understanding every stage of an asset's lifecycle, from procurement to decommissioning, ensuring every device is accounted for, maintained, and compliant. It's about knowing what you own, where it is, what it's worth, what condition it's in, how long it'll last, and what needs to be fixed first. Poor asset management practices cost enterprises millions in operational inefficiency, missed opportunities, and catastrophic failures that could have been prevented. Legacy systems like IBM Maximo have dominated the space for decades, but they still struggle to meet modern needs. They have complex user setups, clunky interfaces, and no simple way of conducting third-party audits in industries where trust and traceability are everything. We've designed a system to fix that. It's called AssetWave. It melds together an asset's entire life story, its security posture, and its real-world value. Our platform is mobile first, so data capture happens where the work happens. It's built on the Global Asset Management Standard, ISO 55000, and it's secured with ZK proofs for on-chain compliance. This enables third-party auditors to verify data without exposing sensitive information, and that means your organization can prove compliance transparently and privately. It all comes together in a single unified experience. Oversee and enhance the whole life cycle of your equipment. Get simple visualizations based on your role, so you can make better decisions. Our newsfeed transforms collaboration into a social media-like experience. Our agents keep you informed by predicting equipment breakdowns, signaling hardware replacements, and adapting to your daily activities through continuous learning. Our business model is straightforward. Subscription tiers with premium add-ons and professional services. But what's next? We envision a world where assets manage themselves. Agents monitor performance, schedule maintenance, and handle on-chain payments. No humans required. For 15 years, we've managed critical systems across energy, manufacturing, and technology, and we've lived the pain points of legacy software. That's why we're rethinking asset management. Our mission? Make managing critical infrastructure intuitive and predictive. We're AssetWave, intelligent infrastructure verified on-chain.
We'll start with any of the judges that want to share their first questions or feedback. Ben, if you're available, I think we'll start with you.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, it's an interesting problem to solve. I guess, I mean, one of my first questions, I guess, is always like, so at what state is the platform at now? Like, what you're showing in the demo there, how do I get to the point of, being able to hook up my infra and monitor things on mobile? Are we, are you at that point already? Or?
No, we've built out the Expo app and are, I guess, just finalizing the UI. We have the agents, the chat working. We have it connected to because it's using a Postgres database and it writes to on chain. So we have the ability to solve the issue for different clients. Some clients are going to want a database, some are going to want it on chain, some are going to want both. And then we are going into raising capital so we can get to a point of getting audits going and getting it to a commercial state. And in the future, we want to add SMNP monitoring and I want to integrate security systems. So you can imagine having Instagram Reels, but security clips of your devices, want to monitor your validator or see if, what is that weird animal crossing in front of your industrial park, in the middle of the night, but it coming in as a reel in your newsfeed instead of having to go through lots of camera footage.
Okay, got it. Yeah, can you speak a little bit more to the, sort of the level of detail you're expecting your agents to be able to provide on the monitoring of assets and like, how real time that feedback can be?
Yeah. So the agents, we're customizing it through prompt engineering. So the different agents will be developed in that method, and we'll go through continuous refinement with that. And then in terms of how real time it is, it will be dependent on your subscription tier. We can have agents, running 24/7 versus once a day. And that all depends on how many credits you want to burn through as a client. And for the newsfeed, agents will most likely run just as a cron job, and then real time available in the chat whenever the user wants to use it. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think it does. Because another question of mine would be like, so and how is this like, what part of this is like, being built on Solana, or like how is it integrating with the chain itself?
Yeah. So when a user is interested in using the compliance and audit feature of the application, or there's a third-party audit that's going to happen, they can synchronize their assets to the blockchain. Actually, good in our demo video, we have some more information on that. And so imagine you have 100 devices, and you're an electrical subgrid, and you have a third-party utility or a third-party consultant coming in to audit the utility in the substation. They can now use the data that's been written on Solana, and they can with ZK we can give selective access to the data, and so now your third-party auditor can run their own analysis on your devices, and it can be completely no sharing of credentials, no having overlap and having to organize the consultant to come in at certain times. It can happen remotely, and it can happen randomly. And it's a big pain point in the industry. It's not only just a time thing, it's a cost thing. Some of these audits, they don't have tools for doing auditing, and when they do auditing by hand, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we can easily tap into that market by having assets, data written on chain, and that the auditing to be happening remotely and randomly.
Okay, cool. I don't want to dominate all the questions. Like maybe is there anyone else who want to pick up a question?
1 second.
Thanks, Simon. I really liked the pitch, and I think it is solving an interesting problem. I wonder whether or not the team has actually engaged with any auditors to try either an MVP or a demo, because my experience in dealing with third-party auditors and accountants in the industry is sometimes it's hard to find folks who understand blockchain, digital assets, Solana to the extent required to actually do a nuanced audit. So and that's a problem that it seems that this service is trying to help solve. But I would just ask about whether or not the team's engaged with any third-party auditors to try an MVP, to try to utilize the ZK function that team just mentioned.
We have we do have a roadmap and a network from my previous work experience and where the field I come from. They're waiting on us actually. So the first area I'd love to have it tested is the world that I come from, which is the National Electrical Reliability Grid. So there's a compliance standard called NERC-CIP, which is critical infrastructure protection for electrical grids. So the kind of first use case, and we're going to build out a custom agent and a custom data schema for the devices that go into their workflows for audits. And then ideally we have like ATCO Electric or Capital Power, one of the power producers in Alberta, be our first clients to do that MVP. And then secondary, we're looking at different municipalities across Canada, mainly Edmonton and the 23 municipalities in Vancouver. That's just where from the academic environment that I've come from, and have network in, but we're open to working with all municipalities and power generation and distribution facilities to get that MVP work in their workflow, and so we can get customizing it for what they need, and that includes the agent prompts as well.
I'm happy to take a stab. Sure. To be less than silent. Hey guys, it's Mert here. I thought that was really cool. I'm the old guy, like I said earlier, so I'm learning. I thought it was really slick. You guys spoke really well, so I gave you really high marks on everything. And the one area where I would love to learn more is, I guess it's 3 minutes, so you don't have a lot of time to get into it, but I would love to understand a little bit more about some of the problems or like a story in asset management that your platform is looking to solve, just to help me understand as a layman and who doesn't really understand a lot of what's going on today. I'm just looking around, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on around me. But a story or a human thing just to help link it in my brain about what you're trying to solve would be helpful. But everything in terms of the impact and the pitch, your idea, I'll give you really high marks. You guys did a really good job.
Thank you, thank you. And just a question follow up with that is, would a personal story help more? That's kind of what we've been working on, is the narrative and the storyline of my work experience designing larger and larger computer systems. And now we've gotten to the point where I'm designing the biggest system you can design, which is for smart cities. And this is kind of the foundational step in that direction. Yeah, is that something that you'd
Story
find
is
helpful? Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Would be fantastic.
yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's great feedback, and we are working on that.
Cool. I think we have time for one more judge to give feedback. If you have any for the team.
Maybe I'll go ahead. Hi, team. Sorry, it's kind of hard to coordinate because there's a lagging in the voice. So yeah, hi team. That was a good presentation. So I would love to know, like, how scalable this infrastructure for large organizations.
Sorry, could you repeat your question?
How scalable the infrastructure of the product for the larger institutions that you're looking to solve the problem with?
Yeah, yeah. So it's solved for scalability at like the deepest level. It can go into any direction. The system is designed to be like uh, uh, put into components, so different departments at a municipality or node operator, or whoever's dealing with the electronic assets, it's designed to like be customized around different asset groups, and then also around different, like outside of electronics, it can be used for turbines and for wastewater treatment plants and for electrical grid stuff. So the framework at which we've built it is it's scalable to unlimited assets, and it's scalable to across different intelligence categories. Yeah, we use MCP and agents in a way that our agents actually they get customized as you chat with them. So the more you chat with a specific type of agent, the more it kind of trains and understands your workflows. And if you need, we're almost thinking that we want to have the app not just a general application, which would be great, but we have a different app for people who use it in the mechanical world, and we have a different app for people that use it for electronics, but the code base is the same. We just need to change the wording of some of the front end to be able to adapt to any kind of use case. So I think, yeah, just like narrowing in on a market segment and customizing even the colors and the text font to something that is more related to that industry is very easy to do. And we can essentially customize it for anything because it's been built in a generic way that can scale up to hundreds of thousands of devices, millions of devices.
Thank you. Do I have time for another question?
Yeah, quick question for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. So what about the revenue model you're looking at?
So typically software for this, the competitors is it's just monthly subscription. So IBM Maximo is probably one of the biggest competitors, and they charge about 5,000 US per month for 25 seats. We plan to do a mix of subscription-based models like that, organization-based just SaaS model, but also for the decentralized environment and people in the Solana ecosystem. We're exploring doing device license NFTs. You get an NFT that is tied to the device, and you have access to the platform for a lifetime. And then in addition, we can we want to open up a storefront and a web front. So agents are purchasing your hardware. When you purchase your hardware, you get a device NFT for a software license, and maybe that license is provided for free, or people who own our NFT or are part of our organization, our DAO or a group, they get free license, and then that license can be used for managing the device over the life cycle. So there's different models, and we're going to play around with what works best for different industries. Electrical utilities are going to want a different revenue, like the revenue to generate revenue than someone who has 10 devices and is just managing their local hardware at home.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks very much, Deshaun. Excellent pitch and excellent feedback from the judges. We're going to quickly move on to the second team of the day.
Thank you.
Cloak Labs, if you could check your mic and your video stream now, that would be great. We'll pull you up onto the stream. Give us literally 3 seconds as we do so. Maybe you're able to quickly check your mic.
Are we looking good? Mic's all good. I think camera's working.
Perfect. Thank you. Take
Awesome.
about 10 seconds to just introduce yourself, and then we'll start with the pitch
For sure.
right after that. Maybe stand by about 10 seconds while we transition over the teams on the stream. We're just getting your little title and slogan up on the stream right now.
For sure. Sounds great. All right. So introduce myself then.
Just stand by 10 seconds, please. Sorry for the technical difficulties today. We can see your StreamYard. Are you able to share your actual deck on the stream?
Yep. I'll be demoing the product. So here's the deck as well. Alrighty. Let me know when it's go time.
Perfect. You're good to go. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, awesome. Morning, everybody. I'm Steve, and this is Cloak, Solana's privacy layer. And we aim to change the concept of privacy on-chain forever. Now, obviously, on-chain currently everything is open and free for everyone to see. This results in your transfers getting tracked, and in turn, you getting tracked wherever you go, whoever you transfer money to. This is bad and goes against the whole idea of cryptocurrencies. Oracles are the driving force behind prices on decentralized exchanges, and if they are bad and lag, that is terrible for your fills and gives you bad trades. Transaction sending services always take fees from users and never give anything back. So we're trying to solve all of these issues with Cloak, Harbor, and Reflow. Cloak is a product that we've built for users to be able to privately send money to each other and receive Solana and or any other SPL token like USDC, USDT from one another without getting tracked by people who may be watching your wallet, your copy traders, etc. Now, let's say you want to trade with this private money. We are building Harbor, which is a private perpetuals exchange, such that you can take leverage in massive positions without having the risk of getting liquidated by market makers. And Reflow is our sub-slot oracle, which means it's less than 200 milliseconds. And it's the fastest in the market from what I know, and also offers users cashback rebates on all of their transactions. Now, Cloak is currently in production, and so is Reflow, so let's get into the Cloak demo real quick. It's free for anybody to use, and as you can see, the UI is very easy to use. You just log in with your wallet. Here's a non-private balance, which is your normal Sol wallet balance. Let's deposit a Sol in here real quick. Now it's decrypting all the encrypted transactions on chain, generating a zero knowledge proof, which is essentially a way of saying that I own this money and it's a part of a bigger pool, but here's proof that I own this money and that I'm not lying to you. And there we go, we've deposited. Now let's say we want to withdraw it back to the same wallet. We're going to be sending it back. And I won't go into the technical details due to a lack of time. However, these two transactions are absolutely not linked to each other. There is zero way to correlate them and the funding and withdrawal wallets. Now, onto the Oracle for a real quick introduction. Getting a little technical here, sorry about that. But this is our Oracle, and very clearly you can see that we are about 1.3 to 2 seconds faster than competition on average. And this is on chain and they're not. So yeah, that's our products. As for Harbor, it's still under construction, which means that you're going to be able to see it soon, as soon as we're done with the MVP. And it's going to be pretty awesome because everybody's going to be able to trade on chain without having to worry about getting liquidated. Just to cover over the team, it's me, Frosted, Maven, and Nubs. I have been working in crypto for about 3 years now. Frosted is very well connected within the ecosystem, so is Maven, and Nubs is our chief of design. Thanks a lot for listening, and I'm open to any questions.
Maybe I'll jump in with one then. So, yeah, good presentation, good demo. I feel like you've got a lot in the package here, so pretty hard to give it adequate time, frankly, in 3 minutes to cover everything. So, I might ask maybe an implementation question just on the Cloak side, and then I'm gonna have to go look through more of your materials to see the other parts. But yeah, so when you're doing so the private transaction part, like you show Solana, being deposited, becoming in a private way. How are you how are you doing this? Is it does it go into a second smart contract layer? Is it
Yep, let me elaborate over that. So this is a really nice question. Essentially explains how Cloak works, and how we're doing this is incredibly simple to understand from a high level point of view. So we have our own on-chain program, which has a tree. A tree is like a bank. So everybody deposits their money to the bank in equal amounts, such that no one transfer can be linked to another. Does that make sense so far?
Okay, so no matter how much I'm depositing in, everything
it's going to divide it into equal amounts, precisely. So when you've done that and now you're going to withdraw the amount, right? You never sign that transaction again. You just send a proof saying that, okay, bank, here you go. I deposited this money on this time. This is the proof. Bank goes, okay, cool. Where do you want to withdraw it? And then the bank handles that transaction for you so that your original funding wallet is never linked to any withdrawals.
Okay, and then the net balances of the bank, though, is that viewable on chain?
Of course, the net balances is the combined balances of all deposits that have been sitting in the bank. Now, of course, the longer you let your money sit in the bank, the less connected it is to you. If what I just did, you just deposit and withdraw immediately, there is a possibility that it potentially could get linked to you through timing attacks. However, if you let it sit for about 5-10 minutes, it's fine, but the longer the better. And the bank only shows the balances that are currently sitting in it.
And then the only person that can figure out how much I have in there, it's like I can only figure that out from my wallet, or is there a way to share with another party if I wanted to prove to another party that these balances were here?
No, that is not possible. Only you, and using your own wallet key, you can decrypt these on-chain UTXOs. And if you do not have them, then unlike any other form of encryption, you will not be able to see anything.
Cool. Got it.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, just jumping in. Great presentation. Thanks for this. I think privacy is obviously
Thank you.
critical in the on-chain economy. I guess a question, I wanted to take a look at the docs if you could follow up and maybe shoot those over to all of us. But I think the biggest thing would just be understanding, you're saying obviously wait some time so you don't get hit by timing attacks. But we've heard a lot of these privacy ones, and maybe in the world of ETH, something like a railgun is obviously touted as kind of top tier privacy, but it gets decrypted, right? Zach XBT coming in and very easily being able to dismantle this. So trying to understand kind of a little bit more around, is it a combination then you guys are doing delayed transfers? You're obviously having certain on-chain encryptions. Is it homomorphic? What's the sort of, obviously without maybe going too deep in the time you have,
For sure.
makes you sure that it can't be linked?
Of course, yeah. So what makes sure is, first of all, equal amounts. Everybody deposits 0.1, 1, and 100 SOL amounts on chain. So you can never really tell how much anybody deposited. You can even delay your deposits, deposit point one now, deposit point one later, disconnecting it further from you. Now, as everybody's depositing these exact same amounts on chain, it all looks like a total mess. Like you cannot differentiate a million point one transfers from each other. At one point, it gets really incredibly messy. So, like, let's say that I deposit 4.1s and somebody withdraws a point 0.5. Well, how do you tell that those were my point ones or your point ones? It's someone's word against the other. Does this prevent ruggers or scammers? I'll get to that in a bit. But first, I want to address the honorable mention for homomorphic encryption for Harbor. Even though that was not your question, I'd just like to put this in. We're using fully homomorphic encryption, never been done on chain before, to encrypt every single position that a user places on chain, making it absolutely invisible to us, any other user, market makers, anyone. Nobody can see it other than the user. And of course, as you know, because of homomorphic encryption, we can operate on encrypted data, meaning that without compromising any privacy or speed in our case, using something that we've been cooking up, you can have insane levels of privacy.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would love to take a deeper look. And maybe just
Oh, yeah.
one quick follow-up then, revenue model. How do you guys?
Yes, excellent question. So for the revenue model, first of all, let's start with Reflow. No, let's start with Reflow. Yeah, the transaction sending service. For Reflow, we're giving users rebates, and that's happening through bribe fees, right? If we take the bribe fees, our SWQOS partners get a percentage of it. We take a lesser percentage and give the user back as much as possible. So that's revenue stream one. Revenue stream two is, of course, Cloak. We have 0.3% deposit and withdrawal fees. And of course, users can deposit LSTs to kind of even that out if they let it sit long enough. And other than that, we have Harbor, which of course has trading fees, which are going to be about 0.1 to 0.5%, depending on your trading volume. If it's low, higher, and if the trading volume is higher, then the fee is going to be lower. Of course, our Oracle is also going to be another source of revenue, as people who use it are going to be paying us for data, and firms, the SECs, centralized exchanges, are going to be paying us to represent their data on our Oracle. Other than that, we also plan to launch a Reflow token, which is going to help the ecosystem kind of grow in itself and have people, give people incentives to invest back into the product that they use every day.
Sounds good. Appreciate the answer.
Thank you.
Hey, Steve, that was an interesting presentation. So I
Thanks.
was going to ask you about the encryption standard. You explained that. So moving to my next question, what about the cross-chain implementation of this product? How does it work?
That is another, oh my God, you guys really know how to ask questions. So cross-chain implementations, for example, I'm probably pretty sure that you're talking about Harbor and integrations with Hyperliquid and such.
Yes.
So currently we don't have any plans for that because Harbor is, of course, in itself a massive product to build. Building a decentralized exchange is incredibly hard. However, in the future, users will be able to import their orders from Hyperliquid and other DEXs into Harbor, such that they can have the privacy and they don't have to change their limit orders or whatever, and they can just take it out of one place, put it into one place, bam, it's private. We want to make it as easy for the user as possible.
So that's a possibility.
That is somehow going to be a possibility, and if it's not, we're going to make it possible.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. No other questions? Come on, you guys are asking really cool ones. I'm down to answer more. Well, I guess if there's no other questions, I'm going to wrap it up, and that's going to be all. Thank you very, very much for listening. It was awesome answering questions, and I hope that all of you in some way can benefit from our products. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Also, Sean, I'm terribly sorry, but could I get your email so that I can send you over the documentations?
Yeah, no worries. I'll let Simon connect us afterwards, and we can go from there.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Steve, are you able to hear me now?
Yep, I am.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, we had another question. Just stand by
For
for one last question for you.
For sure.
Yeah, just a quick question, Steve. How are you guys thinking about bad actors potentially using the platform? We're coming out of obviously the run-ins of Tornado Cash with U.S. regulators. Obviously, I think that needs to be balanced with the privacy ethos and decentralized ethos of crypto. But how is Cloak Labs thinking about bad actors using the platform?
So this is an excellent question because it gets us back to the moral point of are guns bad or are shooters bad? So first of all, we need to make sure that people don't use our products for nefarious acts. And we plan to, as soon as we get funding or something like that, we plan to train our own in-house machine learning models to analyze transactions that go through without keeping any track whatsoever. So ideally, it's going to be running on the user's machine. And if their wallet has some weird activity going on, if the transfer is unusually large, then it's probably not even going to hit Cloak. Now, of course, we want to do all this without destroying the user's privacy. So nothing should ever go to a server. Nothing should ever leave the user's computer. That's our goal here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you very much. Make that
Thanks.
connection for you, Steve, to Sean after the demo day. We do have
Sounds
one
great.
more team to come up before our short break. So Scanna or Monty, if you're able to test your mic and maybe start presenting your screen, we can pull you up on the stream and make sure everything's working before we get started. Cool. I think we are ready to go. Can you test your mic audio? I know you're going to be doing a video here, but you do speak after.
Can you guys hear me right now?
Yeah, all good.
Oh, perfect.
Web3 has perfect transparency. Dune shows every transaction, Nansen tracks every wallet, the blockchain captures everything that happens. But here's the $3.5 billion question nobody can answer. Why did it happen? Magic Eden sees you sold an NFT for 8 SOL, but not that you needed holiday money and a plan to buy back in Q1. Jupiter processes billions in DEX volume, but can't tell you why X% of new users never return. Blockchain solved the what, and now we're building the why. I'm Monty, here with my co-founder Atlas, and this is Scanna, the verified consumer intelligence infrastructure Web3 desperately needs. The problem exists at 3 levels. The first is tactical. Traditional surveys get 5 to 15% response rates. Twitter polls, easily botted. Discord feedback, unverifiable noise. The second is strategic. Even when you get responses, you can't trust them. Sybil attackers and bot farms complete surveys for pennies. And the third is structural. We have a $3.5 billion market making billion-dollar decisions based on Twitter sentiment and executive intuition. Scanna isn't just a better survey tool, the same way Linktree wasn't just a link list, but captured the $1.5 billion creator economy infrastructure. We look like Web3 surveys. What we're actually building is verified consumer intent infrastructure, the data primitive that shows why users act, not just what they did on chain. Let me show you why Coliseum should be using Scanna right now. During the current hackathon, Maddie was on X trying to decode mixed feedback on Coliseum's dropout program. Scanna answers that in hours, not weeks. Create a campaign, tell our AI assistant we want student participants to gauge dropout program viability. It auto-populates the questions, you set the reward per response. Now here's what makes this powerful for DAOs. See this toggle, enable prediction markets? Students answer and get paid, but now their verified responses can also back prediction markets, turning sentiment into tradable forecasts that inform real decisions. Students scan, answer in wallet, and receive crypto instantly. Analytics update in real time. For DAOs, this means you're not just collecting opinions, you're collecting decision infrastructure, survey data that governance can actually act on. But surveys are just the wedge. The real asset is underneath. Every response links wallet addresses, on-chain history, stated preferences, which creates the only Sybil-resistant consumer research dataset in crypto. As our data compounds, each new survey makes the dataset more valuable. We're pre-launch with already 3 segments leaning in. Conferences, replacing less than 8% response rates with over 60 to 80% in under 48 hours, with super team onboarding. Marketing agencies, managing millions in Web3 ad spend with no attribution. We give verifiable ROI. And wallets, cutting user acquisition costs from $50 to under $10 by turning surveys into onboarding. Each sees clear ROI, faster insights, real attribution, and cheaper acquisition. We offer a 3-tier model, self-serve acting as our volume engine, where anyone launches surveys, pay per response platform fee, which is viral and frictionless. Managed service, our cash engine, where we handle design, distribution, and analysis for conferences and agencies. And data products, our moat engine, benchmarking, predictive models, API access for VCs and trading desks. Before we even had a functional MVP, we closed $127,000 in committed revenue. We run a Web3 marketing agency working with some of the top crypto brands. Scanna came straight from that. Every client told us we need more data from our customers. We got tired of hearing it. We built the fix. Here's our hypothesis. A $3.5 billion market with 0 real consumer insight tools, Solana making instant on-chain feedback possible, customers paying pre-launch, data network effects creating a defensible moat, and a clear path from 0 to millions in ARR. Not using Scanna will soon feel like running a Web2 business without Google Analytics. We're not just building a survey tool, we're building Web3's feedback loop, the system that makes the entire ecosystem smarter. Scan this QR code right now, answer one question, and get sold before I even finish this sentence. That's the future of consumer intelligence in Web3. This is Scanna. Let's make Web3 smarter together.
Great. Thank you very much for the presentation, Monty from Scanna. We do have a question already from one of our judges, Max. Max, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I think this is an excellent idea, and does solve like a clear problem in terms of attestation and verification of survey results. Is the intent for this to be solely focused to Web3 companies and the Solana ecosystem? Because I see a lot of applications, not only for crypto service providers, but also for anyone who's using outbound surveying to make decisions. So is the customer focus really on crypto native folks, or is there a broader focus, I guess, planned in the future?
Yeah, so right now we're mainly focusing on the crypto folks, but there is like broader use cases with like real world assets. So for example, like a lot of like normal products that you buy from like a store, or from like a restaurant, they usually have like a 1-800 number or some sort of method for collecting information, and you get some sort of freebie. So that could be used on like real world assets, whether it's like consumables or anything. And it would pretty much have the same mechanism. So it's open to Web 2 as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's Mert. Wow, for just like a layman like me, I think you did a great job explaining it. I kind of got it. I was able to kind of follow things. So this old dog is learning some new tricks. I thought it was slick, very good. One sort of thing that I'd love to know more about. I would so much love to hear an example or a story about how somebody used this or somebody can use this, and the benefits to the business that might use this. I'm always curious about that, and a real example or a hypothetical example would be really cool for me to learn about and understand. But otherwise, I gave you guys really high marks, and great job, very slick.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, well, actually, like this idea actually came to us from one of our clients, because me and my co-founder, we actually run a Web3 marketing agency, and we organized one of like the largest conferences in Colombia. So it was actually through them, they were specifically asking about some sort of way or mechanism that they can collect data from attendees from the conferences so that they can continuously make improvements. So there's going to be another one this year in January as well. So that was kind of where the idea was born, but we realized that there's actually so much more to it, right? Like we're obviously starting with surveys, but what really came out of it was a complete market research infrastructure. So right now, in terms of like our development and our roadmap, we're really just focused on delivering the best product possible to our early adopters. So it's probably going to be conferences, Web3 communities, and we're solely focused on their experience, right? So we're constantly having calls with them and getting an understanding of their pre-existing workflows, and we want to make Scana sort of seamless.
Cool. Thank you very much. Does any other judge want to make some comments or feedback?
Yeah, maybe happy to jump in there. Hey guys, great pitch. I really love when people are able to just say, "Here's a problem, I'm fixing it. You don't need to know anything about tokens. It's just this is the attention span that will help at least configure some marketing pieces." Would be curious in terms of kind of the thinking like an investor here. What's your exit strategy? Do you envision that you'd want to continue growing this thing? Is it you'd like to then figure out a way to get acquired by a larger marketing agency? Is it some sort of protocol agnostic piece that you can get built in? Like, what's kind of the longer term vision? Because I see the short term makes a lot of sense. I think you guys have something that if you can build this will help massively in the Solana ecosystem. But I'd be curious what a couple of years down the line looks like for you.
Well, I mean, the bold sort of vision is like we want to be the Google Analytics of market research data on Web3, right? But realistically, I think what would happen in the coming years is that we would probably have a partnership or maybe some sort of acquisition with the current players in the space that are running analytics. So whether it's Dune or any other Web3 analytics company that's extremely large, I think they would have a really big interest in probably acquiring us because we'll have a really strong data set, which is hard to replicate, right? Because when you're early to the data collection game, it's pretty much impossible for anyone to catch up, right?
Cool. And I guess one thing I'd be curious of just an on-ramping strategy for folks as well is if you don't have a crypto wallet, but you want to just be able to scan it, you guys thinking of building it like an easy, here's a phantom download link as you go, just because obviously I think bridging out into non-Web3 users, you're going to, one, get potentially some better survey data, so it's not just all of us crypto natives, but two, just thinking of like easier ways to get folks to sign this up. If, oh, it's my other phone, I don't have a phantom here, like just the ease of access will be something I think you guys will want to pay attention to. But again, overall, great pitch. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Thank you so much.
Hey guys, I have a question. So, how do you ensure the integrity of responses while maintaining the anonymity in the chain?
So right now, one of the main things that we're implementing, because it's the easiest, is just simply having a whitelist. But what we're planning on doing is actually integrating a lot of, logic on chain that can ensure that, the wallets weren't newly created, that it has a soul balance. Obviously, if you want to collect, any payment from a survey that you complete, you're going to have to sign a transaction, which is going to cost you a microcent or something like that. So there are a number of sort of mechanisms that we can put in place to prevent that abuse. And one of the good things is actually before we started building this project, we were building a meme coin launchpad, and we learned a lot about the different flags that platforms put in place, like whether it's Axiom or GMGN or Dex Screener. They have certain flags that they put to show if a token was bundled, if a bunch of wallets were newly created. So all those same sort of warnings and flags could be used for these form submissions as well. But yeah, I think it would be something that's pretty straightforward to deal and address.
Thank you. It was a great presentation and it was in layman and business terms. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Monty, from Scana. So thank you to the first three teams, Asset Wave, Cloak Labs, and Scana for your presentations and the feedback from the judges. We're going to quickly go to our first break. It'll be about a 10-minute break, so we'll be back at 1:10-ish p.m. Eastern. Enjoy the break. See you soon.
Hold on stage, put Ross.
Yeah. I just added you to the stage. Should be good now.
I'm on stage, okay. Hello, Simon, can you hear me? Please, testing, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, okay, great. And now I'm gonna unmute you, I'm gonna add you to the stage, and I wanna hear you talk, and I wanna hear the back and forth, okay? Wait, hang on. Sorry, everyone, we're just doing some technical fix so that we have less echo out here. Give me one moment. All right, Simon, can you please speak for us? No? It's supposed to be connected. Never mind. Apparently, you're not connected to a microphone, only the headphone.
Yeah. Why? They would speak from here.
Because I'm trying to test if someone else joins from virtually.
Yeah.
That's why he's over there, because I want to see if someone else is virtually, other virtual judges, I want to see if there's echo when they talk.
Ask them to talk.
Okay.
I put you on stage.
Hi,
Then
Ben, do you mind just saying a few words for testing of audio purposes, please?
Hi, Fib. Is this what you need? Need a little more?
all right. He's speaking to me.
He's
Okay,
talking?
you're hearing it.
Okay, so you want to hear it through there? Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
speaker
great.
selection.
Okay.
Oh.
So when we you hear best?
It's just FYI,
We like yeah, we know.
Yeah, we're doing some
Yeah.
troubleshooting. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We're so grateful to have you here listening, and we'll be back to programming very shortly with some edges coming up.
So Ben, if you can try to speak again, please.
Sure. How's this, Ben? Does this help?
Yeah, we hear you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can you hear us well?
Totally makes sense. Yeah, really good. Because you look amazing. But I wasn't, I mean, you could
I
know
could be a
exactly
lot of
what
different
exactly.
How's it going? Can you guys hear me? Okay, excellent. Let me just share my screen. So our project is called Condor, and we're the first dedicated mobile app for providing liquidity on Solana. The current user experience for providing liquidity is way too complex. As a result, there is a very high barrier to entry, which is limited to just advanced DeFi users. Not only is there a huge learning curve to figure out the Meteor interface, but also finding the best market opportunities is difficult. Our solution is a streamlined LP user experience that can be accessed anytime and anywhere, an interface that's both intuitive and native to all traders with intelligent pool aggregation across all Solana dexes that notifies you of the best opportunities, so you don't miss the action when you're away from your computer. Do you know that there are over 1 million daily active traders on Solana, yet only 10 to 15,000 users are actively providing liquidity? That's a massive gap and an even bigger opportunity. Meteor alone is still generating close to 150 million in fees per month. Crypto apps have also been growing exponentially in popularity. When I first started in crypto, I would have never imagined that people would be trading on their phone, but that's the direction the current market is headed. So why are we sued to fix this problem? All of our team members have either founded or built DeFi projects and are active LPers. Some of our projects have reached over 10,000 monthly average users and have done millions in revenue. We're experts at finding product market fit and growing startups fast. We've also partnered with some of the best LP communities and technology providers to ensure we accelerate our execution and find traction. So why now? There is a large gap in the market for optimized liquidity provision experiences, and we have a first mover advantage for activating LP users on mobile. Meet Condor. We offer aggregated and ranked pool discovery, so finding LP opportunities is easy. We have gesture-driven pool creation. Just slide your thumb to create the range, and then it's one click to add liquidity directly on the chart. It's intuitive and natural for traders. We're about 90% done the front end and back end, and less than 2 weeks away from launching our private alpha. Condor stands out as the first mobile app on Solana built for providing liquidity, offering multi-dex pool discovery and simple chart-based gesture controls. Our fees are comparable to popular apps like Vector, Axiom, and Trojan. With Condor's premium user experience, we believe users will be comfortable paying a 1% fee to open and close positions, while power users can unlock lower fees and cashback rewards by reaching higher tiers. Our team lives in the trenches and knows how to convert users. Between our referral system, our point system, key partnerships, and traditional KOL marketing, we know we can make a huge impact. Our roadmap starts with our alpha launch, and then we'll get into rewards and discovery. Then we'll move into the public beta, and phase 4 is dev tools and API, and phase 5, maybe at some point in the future, we'll release a DLMM DEX. This is our tokenomics if you're interested in investing, and thanks so much for listening. Let me know if you have any questions.
That's okay from the conference room. No? Yes? No?
I can hear myself in the headphones.
CJ, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's great. Nice. We have new mics. Hello, everybody from the conference room. Yeah, let us know if you can't hear us again, but thank you for the excellent pitch, Condor. We're going to quickly jump to the judges. I think I'd like to hear from Sean first on this one, if that's okay. Sean, if you're ready to give some feedback.
Calling me out as I was just going to fill up the coffee. No, I love it. Thank you. Connor, this is good, man. I think one of the biggest things I've always said is crypto is make it so it's so easy you don't need to understand it, right? And a lot of folks they get the LP balance wrong. Trying to think it really here is you get the user acquisition piece, right? Let's assume all goes nice and smoothly. People deposit in here. What's kind of your moat you're looking to develop that somehow you'd be able to prevent other similar strategies from being enacted, right? Like obviously get that early user attraction, get the momentum, you snowball it out. That's helpful, but there's always someone else that's kind of looking around as a vampire attack to come in and show this. Kind of curious what you see as the best way to prevent something like this from happening.
Yeah, that's an extremely good question. I mean, in crypto, infamously, they always say like there is no mode. It's just about like executing well and executing fast and building a great community, which loves using the app. And so, I think that we're going to be first to market for a product like this, and hopefully that builds enough users. We're using like Privy, so people are setting up like a brand new wallet to join our program, and then we're going to have that point system and a referral system as well. So hopefully we'll onboard a bunch of KOLs and just make a huge impact right from the get-go.
Nice. Out of curiosity, partnerships longer term, anyone you're looking at that kind of top of mind? I'll put the KOLs to the side, but just in terms of infrastructure providers as well, I think if having yourself as a default option always makes it even easier to get folks on board. Is there anyone you're kind of looking at in the Sol ecosystem?
Yeah, we have quite a few partnerships. I mean, we have conversations with the LP Army like ongoing on Telegram, and we're trying to really onboard them as like a key partnership to help with our push when we do go live. Yeah, we've also got a conversation going with like Meteora, and like we've seen some pretty good headway with that as well. Also, in terms of moat, like we are planning on doing our own API in the future. So we have like an extremely talented dev on the back end. He's a Rust pro. So I have a lot of confidence that that will also help us along, and just like the smoothness of the app and our execution will help bring that moat.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it. All the best.
Thanks.
Hey, I think I can go next. It was a nice presentation, and as a tech guy, I have a question about the smoothness. So, like, how does the gesture-driven pool creation technically work on the mobile? Are you using on-chain actions or off-chain batching for your smoothness? How does it work?
I'll have to get back to you with that. Like, I'll have to ask my like backend dev. Right now, yeah, I'll have to ask my dev and get back to you.
Right. That's a technical question, so I was curious. Thank you.
All good.
Maybe I'll jump
Ben,
in.
do you have a question? I'm gonna call you up, Ben. I think you might have some interest in this one.
Yeah, I was just gonna throw out something. Yeah, I mean, I love the idea. I love the idea of one-click actions to get into pools and help making LPing a little more intuitive and easier for more people to get into. Can you maybe talk a little bit more about what it is that you're doing when you talked about like ranking pools and opportunities, and yeah, like what are you gonna be doing in your interface there that just brings us another step above like what all's involved in some of these one-click flows, like maybe including rebalancing and keeping like an optimal range to be doing.
So we were kind of inspired by like how Vector.fun does it, where there's like these presets. I've always found that like the less amount of different buttons you have to click, the better the user experience is going to be. And so our idea was that we have things like range and the amount of SOL we want to put in as like presets, and then the bin selection and the pool selection is usually like automatic. We want to like make it as easy as possible to onboard new LPers, but also like in the settings tab that pops up, you do have those more advanced options. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that definitely speaks to it. And then will be settings in the interface then too as well to like alert you if you're going out of range, alert you when it's time to rebalance, like to help you stay active? And
yeah, absolutely. It wasn't mentioned in the slides because I guess like a 3-minute time limit is pretty small, but we do have plans to have like push notifications to your phone, and also like a whole social layer that we've been thinking about. So it's like if you're following a trader or you're seeing a bunch of people using like damn V2 on a like a new meme coin that launched, like I've seen a lot of that stuff on socials about people hitting like 10,000% gains, and being away from your desktop and getting a notification on your phone, seeing that like, oh, like 5 other traders have put like damn V2 liquidity, where you're providing liquidity for the whole curve. into a certain meme coin and then being able to jump on that right away. I see that as a huge value add, which currently isn't available in the market.
Oh yeah, that's really interesting. The essentially follow groups or follow, be able to. You talked about social functions too, then to be able to allow yourself to be followed by others or be discoverable, or
yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Great. Any last questions, comments, or requests from the judges? We have a couple more minutes here.
I got one question actually. With respect to how rewards are earned by LPers, does the crypto cross through Condor? Or do the rewards cross through Condor in any way, such that you guys are custodying any of those crypto assets, or is it purely a non-custodial platform that's aggregating all these different LPs?
Yeah, it's purely non-custodial. However, we do have like a rewards and cashback system in place. So of the fee that we take, there will be like a button to claim that stuff, and that's part of like, I feel like something that Axiom's really like done well on, where there's like a bit of like a dopamine hit when you are like reclaiming some of that Solana, even though it's just as a fee. It's like it still feels like you're being rewarded. So yeah.
Simon, can I add one thing?
You betcha.
Just want to say, really professional, really as a business person, thought it was really good and professional and slick. Great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks a bunch, Condor.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Up next, we have Upstake.fun. I'm going to say Husky. I'm not sure that's how you pronounce it. But Husky, if you could quickly join us on the stage, check out your mic, and start presenting. We can make sure everything's working before we get started.
Yeah. Can you see my slide?
Not yet, but we can hear you just fine.
Okay, cool.
I think we see something now. Yeah, we see your slides. Perfect. So you're
Okay,
good
cool.
to go whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. So hi, my name is Hui, or Husky. So today I'm introducing Upstake.fun, where stakers get guaranteed staking rewards instantly. So imagine you're a Solana staker, whether like an institution or just solo. You see a lot of like validators saying, "Oh, come to stake with us and get like 7.5% APY," for example, and then you just stake all your SOL, and then after a year or later, you check your performance. What you actually get is only 6.5%. So this happens quite often because the APY normally just a historical projection. So so honest validator just use the history average, or they even just like exaggerate a little bit. So the root cause of this is that stakers are absorb 100% of validators' operational risk. So the same problem for validator, especially small validator, such as myself as well. Even if you're performing very well, it does not guarantee that you have more stakes. Without more stakes, you cannot perpetually grow your performance. If we look at the risk market, such as financial, there's options, futures, or insurances that all addressing the future rewards in a kind of a guaranteed way, but currently not for Solana staking. So that's why we introduced Upstake.fun, where for stakers, you get upfront staking rewards, guaranteed and instant. And for validators, you can acquire stake and to profit if you have a great performance. So how does it work? Let's do a live demo. So so when you head in the app, so right now it's live on testnet. So let's start from the staker. So if you're a staker, you can browse a list of validators offers. You can see the APY or APR directly listed here. And then you can choose and you can lock up how long you want to stake, and you want to stake. So for example, and then you can see once you click stake, you'll get instant rewards for the duration that you're staking. So firm and get, done. So now you're like your sold stake and you get the reward upfront. So you kind of de-risk from the validator's performance. So if they're performing poorly, you still get the rewards. So the other side of the problem is the validator. So let's switch to validator. So, and then if you're a validator, what you can do is you can create an offer. So this one I already have, but you can just edit the offer. For example, if I'm using a better machine, I can use offer 15% and minimum stake required, and then date and range. Let's just use this one. And then you can put some like deposit into your bond, which used for instant payout. And then once your offer is ready, and then you can see it's reflected, and then and people can stake to your offer. So you can see a list of the staking. So basically the idea is like I want like the small, like validators, no matter small or large, can stand out if they have good performance. And then in the long term, grow the Solana entire network's latency, like reduce the latency and improve the performance overall. That's my slide. I'm ready for taking any questions.
Thank you very much. Is there any judges that want to take a stab at this one first?
Yeah, go for it, Max. Yeah, I thought it was a great presentation. I think staking is something that everybody can get smarter on, crypto native and non-crypto native folks like. Is there any thought to potentially integrating with a liquid staking token? One of the common, I think, things that people have take issue with when it comes to staking is the lockup period and the fact that they can't effectively commoditize or monetize their tokens for that time being. So is there any thought potentially to integrating with staking tokens we could offer?
Yeah, totally. So so this is actually not interfere with the LST. So LST is just like validator can issue their kind of like tokens that represent the stake on their validator. So Upstake Fund is like we create a way to peer-to-peer connect staker and the validators, and so so the stakers can get like instant rewards. So in case, like for the LST, for example, in the worst case, if the validator just goes offline and the LST, the value just stop accruing. So that is one of the risks for the stakers, because you never know how much reward you're actually going to get over a certain period. So for like larger stakers, for example, institution, sometimes it's very crucial to kind of plan ahead, like have a kind of guaranteed returns. That's why a lot of stakers go to the larger validator because of reputation, not because of the performance. So yeah, like we try to solve this issue with upfront payment, so kind of de-risk the validators like performance from the rewards that user get. So then like kind of like it's a push for validators. So if they truly run a good performance over this time, they can get kind of delta as their rewards. So I kind of try to create this positive kind of flywheel effects for performance to the rewards.
Interesting. In that case, so to your point, you're right. There is a reliance on liquid staking token holders on the validator continuing to operate. I guess is the idea that the upfront payments will mitigate some of the risk that, like let's say a validator does go offline, at least you have, this upfront payment that you initially bargained for. Is that the idea, that it's supposed to operate on one side as, I guess, a disincentive for the validator to go offline, and the other side, an incentive for someone to stake with that validator? Is that the idea?
Yeah, totally. So basically, that's why, like validator, when you create offer, you need to put a SOL as a bond for the upfront payment. So it's like you advocate like 10% APY, and then you put a corresponding bond. So the staker will get the staking reward upfront. So if the validator goes offline, then the validator will lose money. So that's why it's not incentivize them to run poorly.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, that was an interesting idea. So I have a question regarding your user acquisition plan. Given the competition is high, what is the plan for user acquisition?
Yeah, so the idea is like right now in Solana, we have a lot of stake pools. For example, Marinade, like Vault, or like the 00. All these stake pools, what they do is they manage a pool of validators, and then they offer LSD on top of it. For each validator, they charge a fee of their rewards. For example, 00 currently charge 5% of all the validators' reward. A lot of those is go to the management of different like validators and the pool management, etc. So that's kind of a middle layer cost. So upfront is for the upstake, we're kind of like peer-to-peer way. So like everything is managed through the on-chain program. So we have less layer of management in between. So we only charge 0.5%. So it's like only kind of 25% of what they are charging. So yeah, we're charging less for both staker and validators, and in a peer-to-peer manner. So that's how we can get edge, because we charge less, and so people are more willing. They can get a higher return guaranteed. So and then we try to and then more people gonna want to stake with us.
Sure, thank you.
Sean or Ben, do you want to take a stab at this one?
Yeah, happy to. I think most of the questions I was going to have are answered, but I guess I'd be curious in terms of, I see right now you guys have, I think it's, is it 84 SOL presently locked? Just seeing this one. Yeah, I think my question would be, it's an interesting idea to try and basically say, we're going to be lean, we're going to be P2P, we're able to reduce a lot of the fees. I think I do a little work on the institutional consultancy side, and a lot of them aren't bothered about fees. What they're bothered about is security, compliance, knowing that basically you have everything locked down. And so to me, it does feel like, if anything, you are going for a different market than potentially some of them. So I think perhaps it may be then that like the narrative or the marketing is a little bit more focused on, hey, this is for the smaller players. This is to basically make sure you keep your money, right? It's a little bit of kind of like almost take back the power from the banks, right? Type of thing. Whereas it feels like there will be an uphill battle to at least attract more and more TVL. So I think my thought, I guess my question on that would be, with respect to kind of the pools you're looking at to get into, or kind of the communities, what's your thoughts around go-to-market strategy or ways to attract perhaps those smaller numbers, right? Because I would be surprised if an institution would be willing to jump immediately on board, which would be great, but like they're going to ask a lot more questions that probably actually cost those management fees to enact. So just kind of curious of how you balance the two.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's definitely hard for institutions to jump on board upfront. Because I think my plan for this is like it's both sides. We're addressing both side issues. First, like small stakers as well as the small validators, right? So right now, a lot of criticism of the Solana validator or like landscape is it rely a lot on the Solana Foundation helping out, and so like recently, Solana Foundation has cut a lot of the staking, so it's even harder for small validator to attract external stake, because a lot of the validators are running great hardware. They're constantly improving your validator algorithm just to kind of like create more yields. But those efforts, like performance, does not translate to the actual external stake. So when people stake, they're still looking for larger players like Coinbase or Binance, even though their performance is subpar. A lot of the the reason is because, as you said, like they want a reputation, so it not get like a rug pulled or like just uncertainties. So that's why the upstake fund is like kind of address this uncertainty. Like you get the rewards up front. There's no risk. Even if the validators go complete offline, you still get your rewards already, and you will keep your principal. So yeah, the idea is like once people see, on top of that, they get instant liquidity, so they can do like trading and stuff. So so the ideal scenario is like over time people notice, oh, they can get instant rewards like in a guaranteed and stable way, and then they'll like leaning more towards this protocol, and then we get more TVL, and then more secure or established over time, and the institution will willing to jump on board.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks for your explanation.
Thank you.
Great. Ben, before you go, we do have one question from the audience. It's from Dave. I think there's one bit of clarification. If they use your platform, they do have to lock the SOL, right?
Yeah, so yeah, that's a great question. So they do have to lock SOL, but they can also unlock if they need. Because one of the concerns, because initially we just lock it and you cannot withdraw. But yeah, that's one concern, is like, what if people want their SOL back? So we introduced this early exit option. So you just need to pay a small penalty, but you still get the reward proportional to how you already staked. So yeah, it's kind of like the small penalty just to prevent like people abusing the protocol, but you still get most of the rewards based on how long you stay. So it's pretty flexible, and same as normal on stake, which takes less than 1 epoch to withdraw, fully exit the staking. Yeah, so it's still flexible, and you get upfront payment.
Awesome. Ben, anything to add?
Yeah, actually, that was a timely question. It might have stolen a bit of, or taken away a bit from one of mine, but I'm thinking about this, and like from the trading perspective, right? You're generating fixed rate markets here. I guess one question, just because I'm not, super on top of the minutia of like the actual staking mechanics, like, is the SOL getting staked, like the lock SOL, it's getting staked via your smart contracts, and then it comes back via your contracts?
Yes. So basically the idea is like, let's say you stake 100 SOL and you lock for 1 year, and then you like for 10%, you will get 10 SOL instantly. And you can use it 10 SOL right now, like just trading meme coin and stuff. And then once the 1 year up, you can take your principal back. So you're basically selling all your potential staking reward, which is fluctuate, and up to the validator. And then you get the reward right now.
So, okay, part of this speaks back to, I think it was like what Sean was saying about institutions, but like with it all being mitigated and controlled by your contracts, I think there's potential there for you, like, with enough auditing and volume through it, you could get that validated to a point that, larger stakers could feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But the trading part of me that's interested here is like, okay, so you've got a penalty, like a fee you can pay to unlock, but have you also considered like, well, you can now essentially have zero, you can essentially have zero rate bonds, essentially. Like you could trade the locked, or you could open up a trading platform for the locked positions too, if people were trying to, move those around or get in and out of there. Like, I don't know, I think there's some opportunities to work with building up rate markets and an actual rate curve when you have the fixed rate side there as well, and strip it apart from the staked SOL itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of like compared to the financial market, right? Financial market has all these options, futures that people can trade. So yeah, definitely, like I think if more people going through the protocol and then like doing this kind of like a staking locked, and then we can potentially make this position tradable, so become like full kind of like future or marketplace.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Upstake.fun, Husky. Next up, we do have Token Draft, who is going to be presenting in person here at the Toronto Super Team office. Give us a quick second while we kind of get set up and connected. I'll probably fill the dead air with some excellent information as we start connecting everything. And Ben's kind of getting it all set up. We have shared all the contact info of all the presentations to the judges. If you're watching from the audience and you want to get in touch with these people, we're releasing a thread publicly on Twitter and on LinkedIn, so you can check out these projects yourselves. And if you're interested, get in touch with them. But right now we have a little bit of extra time, so we might squeeze in an additional project after you're done Token Draft before our next break. But I guess Token Draft, you're ready, set up. It's on the stream. You look good. You sound good.
I just want to make sure everyone, everyone online can hear me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, great. Hey, I'm Dima, the founder of Token Draft, the daily fantasy platform for digital assets. Crypto's a speculator's game. Players pick sides. They chase rotations. They want to make the number go up. They play for status and social validation that they were early. Players from other speculator games have come over to crypto. Sneakerheads, Pokemon card collectors, poker players, sports bettors. It's familiar territory for them. The problem is the game of crypto lacks fair skill expression. The arena is missing. Outcomes skew to whales with large bankrolls. It's capital dependent, it's 24/7, and it's stressful. Most players have small bankrolls and only have 10 to 15-minute windows a day to trade. They have alpha and opinions on all kinds of tokens, but no fair way to compete on that knowledge. It's also a social vacuum. Dumping on your friends in Telegram isn't exactly friendly banter. Order books don't really create shared moments, but drafts do. Speculation is becoming entertainment, right? Let's look at sports. They have betting against the house, and they also have the PvP skill-based layer. That's fantasy sports. Fantasy made it a skill-based game, social, fair, and fun. It's also a multi-billion-dollar industry. There are deep cultural and community ties in sports that have parallels to tokens. Being a diehard fan of a team and being a token community member are both cult-like. The Chainlink Army, the Bitcoin Maxi, whatever the Ripple guys call themselves. Given these similarities, we are applying the proven fantasy model to the best speculation game on the planet. Token Draft is daily fantasy for digital assets. Live snake drafts, time box contests, and prizes funded by player buy-ins. We take a 5 to 10% fee per tournament, depending on buy-in. With pooling drafts into larger tournaments, we can provide pump fund style returns by just picking a few tokens, turn $50 into 5 figures. There are always winners, even if the market is losing in Token Draft. You just have to beat the field. I'll do a quick demo here. You can join a tournament lobby with a set buy-in and format. Enter the draft and pick one token each round when it's your turn. Your goal is to form a team of tokens that will have the best performance over the tournament's length. Think of it as you making a little time-bounded portfolio, and you are trying to outgain everyone else's portfolio. After the draft, we start pulling in live pricing data, watch your results in real time. If you're one of the top performers, you earn a portion of the prize pool. Show off your gains on the timeline or in Telegram. This is just the first leg of Token Draft. We're starting with tokens, but we want to bring fantasy to all speculative digital assets and markets. We see the world heading into an age of hyper-financialization, and we are going to be the fantasy layer for these assets. Live draft everything. Drafts for end-of-month prediction markets. Draft RWA markets like Pokemon cards. Draft Counter-Strike skins. Whatever. We've been in closed beta that started with friends and angels and family since the beginning of July. We've had over 600 matches played to date and 120 plus users. We're live on mainnet, but currently access key gated as we scale out. We have a Telegram group with over 70 members. That's our early community. We also have 250 plus followers on Twitter, and that's all just through word of mouth and talking to friends. Our referral rewards campaign is on the way, as it is a key growth avenue as we head to go to market. I'm Dima, the founder. I'm a developer, but I also was a semi-pro online poker tournament player back in the day. I paid off all of my student loans 5 years ago with tournament winnings. This is a really familiar space for me. We previously raised for and built something called Sat Screener. It was a deck screener-like product for assets on Bitcoin. We had over 10,000 daily active users for the majority of 2024. We pivoted to Token Draft and to Solana. Since it has the highest TAM, it fits our skills, it fits our target demographic, and is the best place to be building consumer apps in crypto. My co-founders are also engineers from esteemed companies like Amazon, Deliveroo, Twilio. Here's some comments from our users over the past few months we've been testing. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you very much. We'll start with the judges here in person, if you're okay with that, as we transition over. Max, do you have any thoughts or questions?
I'm a diehard fantasy football player, so this is right up my alley. I think it's a great idea to like gamify basically the competitiveness that you see from the various blockchains. I'm going to ask some fantasy football specific questions. Could you make trades? Can you is that something?
Yeah, we can get into like, I play fantasy as well.
Yeah.
It's basketball format right now. Think of it as Underdog. I don't know if you ever use Underdog.
Yes.
It's totally basketball format. In the future, we do want the idea of like benching potentially in like, time-bounded tournaments where it's like 5 days and on the weekend you can kind of change your roster. But for now, it's really just like big best ball drafts. Kind of keep it simple, stupid to start.
Yeah.
Also, like a lot of crypto native people don't really know fantasy yet, so we just want to like
make it as accessible in the and I think starting with the draft makes it as accessible as possible.
Right.
Like everybody's.
Yeah.
I think people can get.
I see crypto tier lists on Twitter, like the meme coin tier list. I'm like, you want this product? You just
You don't know that you don't know that you want it.
Yes,
that makes sense. How did you come to the decision on pricing? So I saw the 5 to 10%.
Yeah, so there's a few reasons. We copied a lot of things from the Web2 products that exist. They take a rake somewhere between 8 and 12%. Also, online poker, most of them have a rake of about 10 to 11%. The reason why is obviously that's like an attractive model.
Yep.
I also look at Photon and Axiom and all these other trading bots, and they take like a 1% fee on top of the pump fund swaps, 1% fee, plus you have to priority, plus you're in and out multiple times. If you've ever traded on any of those bots, you end up, even if you traded 3 times, you end up paying like way more than 10%. So I think 10% sounds heavy up front, but it actually is like much lower than if you were to trade these assets. Also, all those other products I listed, Underdog, DraftKings, FanDuel, they all do rakeback programs. And we're obviously going to have a rewards and similar to a rakeback program. And obviously we need high fees in order to be able to get back. And that rakeback is usually between 30 to 45%, depending on how big of a whale you are.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, team, I think you did a great job. I'm not a fantasy football player, my friend Max, and I'm new to all this, but you really explained it well to me. As a business guy, you did a great business case. I understood it, which is a miracle that you got me to understand something. And it was a really good presentation, and I think from a business perspective, you've done a really good job.
Thank you.
I would invest in this.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Any judges online want to share their thoughts?
Hey, that was a great presentation. Can you explain to me how you're planning to scale this beyond the crypto traders? Because the industry is really huge, right? So you will have better opportunities when you scale.
Yeah, so are you referring to kind of the PMs and the RWAs, or just trying to get non-crypto native users to do crypto drafts? Kind of like which side of that?
Non-crypto users to use crypto draft, yes.
Yeah, so I think the easiest way to break into that is if we look at the Trump coin, right? That was probably the biggest onboarding event for people in normie land by far. They probably downloaded Phantom for the first time and bought some Trump coin. I think that people that did that and probably haven't touched crypto since, but do fantasy football, and it's a massive market, many people that play it. Having some way of breaking into that industry, whether it's through a partnership with a bigger product like FanDuel or DraftKings or Polymarket, a partnership with one of those companies would be the easiest way to break into that. Aside from that, we can always do traditional advertising like Instagram style ads or even Twitter ads. For now, we want to onboard the 100,000 people that trade on chain every day. We think that's like the first way to grow the product. And then the second way would be like traditional advertising, like I said, through Instagram or through Twitter or X, sorry.
Sure. So just curious, any gambling regulation concerns like you're looking at?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We've spoken to lawyers already. So there's a couple of, first of all, token draft is a skill-based game and fantasy is seen as a skill-based game. It's more of a contest and less of a gambling, because you're not really gambling against the house here. We just are providing like a facilitator fee. That's all it is. We don't, take any action on any of your bets. We're not arbitraging or anything like that. So according to our lawyers and our research, at the moment, fantasy licensing is specifically for fantasy sports. This is kind of a very new gray area. And as of right now, we are able to operate without those regulations and just with essentially like a legal memo. I'm certain that as we grow,
there will be different legal expenses, and that's obviously one of the reasons why we want to raise money. I expect it to be, just it's one of those things where it's such a gray area that it might be expensive to figure all that out.
It is very expensive.
The quote we got was
Should
great
be
already.
figuring out and having like policies in place to
100%.
That's great. Thank you.
No problem. Forget the names of the other judges. I don't know if they have any questions.
Ben and Sean.
Ben and Sean.
Yeah, this is Ben. I just had like probably simple, just question. Like, again, I'm not, like a fantasy, football player or anything like that. So I'm pretty new to that side of things. But, like when it comes to like the portfolio of tokens and stuff that people can put together in these pools, is it, how dynamic is that? Like how broad a list will it be? Could people be coming together to, do weekly tournaments on teams as they're launching on Pump throughout the week or stuff like that?
So, is it all right if I swap the screen share to the product just for a second and maybe would that work? Yeah, because it would maybe answer that a little bit better. Give me one sec. Should be able to switch 100 times that are open. Can you see my screen? Right. So you asked which assets. So right now it's all whitelisted. We essentially have like an algo in the background that's monitoring which tokens we should add, because you don't want to just add 100K pump fund coin that just bonded. I think there's a little bit too much insider trading that can go on with something like that. But right now the lowest asset we have is probably MLG. I think it was back then. Yeah, it's at 2 million. And the reason why we still keep tokens that maybe have lower market caps, because they still have large communities. And that's really important to us. So when we're whitelisting a token to be added to Token Draft, we decide not only based on volume and market cap and whether it's a real token, that's kind of an interesting point, but whether it's just not a bundled scam, right? We check to see if there's actual community and integration and people talking about it on X and other platforms. So algo in the background and whitelisting.
Cool, got it. Thanks.
It's cool. I think you've answered most of the questions I had. I also don't play fantasy draft. I know I meant to say go Blue Jays though. I'm not Canadian. But we're all hoping for the best. I've been watching the games the last week, so hell yeah. No, my immediate thought is this all looks super interesting. I think it also is a really interesting transparency angle. Look, everyone talks a large game about their winners, and very few people are open about their losers when they're talking about this.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is an interesting way whereby you can say, actually, here's my draft for the week, follow this along, right? Every crypto Twitter account I know is just here's my wins, but they're not going to actually tell you about the other 3,000 they missed, right? This, I think, is a really interesting avenue in terms of transparency, and you'll very quickly, I think, start to see the ones that actually are pretty good at hitting their wins. They'll be pretty proud to show this. I think if you have people veering away from it and only saying, look at my P&L screenshot, I think this is an interesting move there on that side. So honestly, it's probably someone better at marketing. You can probably do a pretty cool KOL strategy for this. I think this is a really interesting one. The second you add leverage in, it's all over. It's going to go an absolute shit show. But I do think you've got something interesting here. So man, this is cool. Would love to take a look at the beta. And I know, honestly, even doing something fun internally, we're a team of 13 around the world, and it would be pretty cool to say hey to all the associates, put your drafts in, the one that comes ahead at the end will give you $50 USDC end of the week is just another thing for interns to try and to test out. So it's cool. Yeah, this is very cool, man. Thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome. Just to kind of touch on that, so we have tournaments which are the big ones, and we have a higher fee for that. But if you wanted to just have a private match with your group, you can absolutely do that on the app today. So yeah, that's kind of it's, you can do little pools for yourself, and then you can also play the big tournaments.
Nice. Yeah, we got to figure out who's going to allocate our treasure. It's just going to be the associate.
Exactly.
The associate that's willing to swing as hard as they can. So sounds good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Dima. We're going to quickly squeeze in one more team before the break. If everybody's okay with that, we're kind of running a little bit of ahead of schedule, so we'll try and get as much time in as possible. Up next, we do have Mercantile. So David or Temporal from Mercantile is going to be joining us on stage very soon. If you could try to share your screen and maybe test your audio. There, I see your video, PFP. That's great. Hi, David. Joining us from
Hello, how's it going?
right now. We can see your screen. Looks great. I think you're good to go, David.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's just get into it. So, hi there. I'm David, founder of Mercantile, a banking platform for the agentic economy. So what does that mean exactly? Well, I've spoken to founders who are eager to deploy payments for their agents, but they keep hitting the same wall. The compliant infrastructure that enterprises require simply does not exist. It is a hard blocker until this problem is resolved. And it's not just founders saying this. The Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta published research recently making the exact same point. You need security, you need visibility, and you need compliance for this to work at scale. So why now? Here's some numbers. Over 3 million transactions settled over X-Row2 in a single week. Cloudflare already serving over 1 billion payment requests to bots and agents every single day, and a staggering $30 trillion in projected volume by 2030. So the demand and potential are there, but the infrastructure is still lacking. Now you might wonder, why not just go after consumers? Well, the simple reason is that the incumbents already own that market. Enterprise, however, is different. Compliance is a defensible moat. Transactions will have a higher nominal value, and B2B is ultimately where the real volume will come from. So here's what we've built. We're running on Squad's Grid, audited on-chain infrastructure that already secures over $10 billion in assets, a hybrid rules engine that handles both on-chain and off-chain policies, a comprehensive events logger that maintains an audit trail for all of your transactions, and all of this plugs into existing agentic workflows via MCP. So in practice, it's fairly simple. You set up your account, define your rules, connect your agent, and you're ready to go. Secure, isolated, and compliant. And once you're connected, your agents will be able to settle X-Row2 transactions autonomously as long as they fall within the rule set. So the business model is pretty straightforward. Free tier to get people in, per seat pricing for teams, an enterprise tier for SLAs. So bottom-up growth, top-down sales, while partnering with agentic platforms on integrations. Right now, our focus is compliance. So SOC 2 Type 1 by Q1, Type 2 by Q3, and everything else will be built on this foundation. So where does this go long-term? When every agent needs a bank account, we want to be the obvious choice. We start with micropayments, then move on to real budgets, and then eventually billions will be settled between agents through our compliant infrastructure. Quick bit about me. I've been programming for 18 years, spent 5 years at companies like Workday, Shopify, and Abnormal. I'm also a Super Team Canada member, as well as the city lead for Vancouver. So the intersection of crypto, AI, and enterprise software is an area that I'm uniquely qualified for. So to summarize, here's the opportunity. The market is validated. Tech giants are paying attention to this space. There's a $30 trillion market by 2030 to be captured. We're raising seed right now to lock in that compliance boat, and we're hitting the market at the right moment. So let's build the financial layer for AI agents together.
Nice, David. Thank you. Let's start with the ones here in person, if you're okay with that. Either of you two want to take the first stab?
Okay, I'm going to go first because I'm getting it now. I'm totally getting it now. David, great job, first of all.
Thank you.
Really short, really concise, summarized, really well done. Dumb question. Well, how do you prevent, how do you stop these AI agents from doing bad things or screwing up and making mistakes and things like that?
Yeah, so I think that's kind of where the idea of building these sensible guardrails comes from. Is just that you can't really prevent AI agents from doing whatever they really want, especially when you're in kind of a background agent workflow. So the best thing you can do as a company that's looking to explore agentic payments is just having these guardrails that you can have full control over, and then handing over, say, I guess the best analogy I could think of is that credit card, that corporate credit card that has those guardrails in place. Hand that over to the AI agent, and then even if they do get led down this malicious transaction route, as long as the rule set is set correctly, they wouldn't actually be able to spend regardless. So that's kind of how I'm addressing it on the AI front. So, but on the other side as well, MCP is a pretty novel, like I guess, pattern to integrate at the moment. And throughout the past couple of months, there have been a lot of attack vectors that have come up. So I've done my best to really architect the back end and entire platform around this idea. So if you're familiar with how things are within like the enterprise space, you have like all these tenanted or isolated tenants just scattered throughout the entire globe. Mercantile is built on top of Cloudflare's infrastructure. So on that front, it's already pretty good there. But every single tenant will have their own database. So in the worst case scenario, and you have say for instance like a bad leak, whatever that happens specifically within your company, at most that company will, or that attacker would only have access to that one specific tenant.
I thought it was a great presentation. You mentioned that compliant. I think you used the word compliance is a moat. I know it's a 3-minute presentation, so as a lawyer, that sounds great. We want our clients to be compliant. Walk me through a little bit of your thinking about compliance in terms of this platform.
Sorry, you cut off like midway there. I can't hear anything now. I don't know if it's on my end or. Can you guys hear me, or am I just waiting for? I can't hear you guys. Is the thing.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, a little bit of echo.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh. Is it working now? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can.
Hey, there we go. Okay, great. Yeah. So so my question was about compliance. You had mentioned that, I think you used the words compliance as a moat. I'm saying, as a lawyer, that's great to hear. We want our clients to be compliant, of course. I would just love to know a little bit more about how Mercantile is thinking about compliance in the context of this enterprise-grade solution.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've really, at the moment, like I think a lot of the patterns around compliance are still kind of not set up. So I think from my end, like coming from an enterprise software background, like I'll try to do as much as I can from this front. So, SOC 2 is pretty much the standard. So without that, I feel like a lot of deals really just, don't happen at all. So that's kind of like the one thing that I'm really, the highest priority for me. But in terms of, more custom like integrations or on that kind of idea, like I would really have to see how like enterprise customers actually deploy out their agentic fleets. I think that's where like a lot of like the stuff is yet to kind of be like written out. So, but I think like my posture is, make sure this thing is as compliant as possible. And hopefully that's kind of like enough to get, the first several customers going. And then hopefully by then I have like a good enough base to work off of.
Thank you.
Any of the online judges are able to donate some questions?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I want to ask stuff that goes more technical than it needs to for this pitch. I think it's a good pitch. I think it's a really interesting market to be entering overall. Like, but like in a lot of crypto operations, you already deal a lot with whitelisting and rules about where you can send stuff. Like so maybe I'm wondering if you could just go in a little bit further into how you envision that working for the agents, like how the squads integration is helps facilitate that, and what it is you're building on top.
Yeah, for sure. So building on squads has really been like the game changer for me. I think like if I didn't have like squads grid to build off of, I don't think this idea would be able to get off the ground. They are like the multi-sig provider of Solana, and so they have a lot of infrastructure that's already on chain and audited, has already a couple of iterations on top of. And so and on the front of like spending rules and limits and whatnot, like that's already kind of like built into their core infrastructure. And I believe like, I don't know if I could say this or not, but like I think like they have like more robust limits coming up soon. And that's something that I will definitely be, building on top of as soon as as soon as that gets released. But on, I guess, like the off-chain side, like, there's a lot of things that you don't really see on chain. So like, the very simple example that I'd like to give is like a web domain, or DNS, all that kind of stuff is, off chain, but you don't obviously necessarily don't really want to say spend at, a known malicious website. And so, and if that's kind of like the route that the agent decides to go to, then obviously you just want to stop that as soon as you can. And so, yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question there.
Yeah, I think it does. It sounds like you're going for both like the ability to whitelist specific activities, blacklist specific activities, and leverage some of the rule sets that are there to help deal with spend, respend, and time-based spend limits, etc. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Any last words to the last judge, or are we going to move to a quick break? That's it. Okay, cool. Thank you for presenting, David.
Great job. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you for your time. Go Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. Let's take a quick 10-minute break. We'll be back at 2:20 p.m. Eastern.
Name?
Mike is still on.
Dima. Nice to meet you.
David.
David,
Whatever,
Dima.
Yeah,
I love
1 second. Hello, everybody. I think we are coming back slowly. Fixing some echoing in a moment. And
I muted mine as well here.
Yeah, can I get your mic on?
Oh, sorry. Oh. Yes.
Yes, nice, that's perfect. Thanks, everybody, for coming back up to the break. We will jump directly into it. We are just 3 minutes behind our own schedule. Wonderful mustache there, Fitz.
Like
First up, so welcome all the judges back, welcome all the teams. We have 4 more projects to go. We'll go nice and quick. This is DeFi REIT, Gateway to Real Estate Capital Markets. Let's get started.
All right, thanks, Simon. Thanks for having me here. So my name is Anthony, and I'm from DeFi REIT, one of the co-founders here, and I lead the technical teams. And Hussein is leading on the business and marketing side. Unfortunately, he won't be able to be here because of family issues, so I'll be taking his place on this one. So we are basically a product that will allow people globally to invest in real estate market. And there are some problems we are trying to solve here in the real estate aspect. So on one side, in emerging countries, we're seeing that if there's inflation and then like the currency is unstable and they want to hedge the risk. So this is like some of the information we got also from the co-founder. And then secondly, to invest in real estate markets, there's regulatory hurdles, and also it can be expensive to invest in real estate. And then like there's also like lack of trust because of in the Web2 platforms, like there's lack of transparency, and also regulations are still kind of like developing and a lot of efforts we're on. And then there's also high costs in managing real estate funds as well for REIT, for example, because that to have the custodian and to manage also the compliance aspects of that. So those take a lot of costs. And we're planning to solve them in multiple ways. So first, that very fundamentally, we want to be ADGM registered by having like incorporation in Abu Dhabi, operating under the British common law. And then also like another advantage is in our tech. So we're building the system on chain, keeping the financial ledger right there, and also making sure it's auditable and transparent. In addition to that is we're using Solana as our blockchain platform. It's able to process the transaction very quickly and also cost efficient. So much better than investors buying the properties using other means. And we also are a global company, so we're able to leverage the the geographical arbitrage. I myself am from Asia, and my co-founder is in Toronto, and we're planning to operate globally. And because of that, we can set up like in-person presences in multiple global areas to for the customer outreach and to get investors from there. In addition to that, we can expand our team globally and keeping our structure lean and making our runway even longer to experiment on. And we also have plans to target specific markets. So for my friends Hussein, we know some connections, and we're going to start from there. So moving on, this is like the market size. Right now, targeting North America is like 100 billion according to the data. And the business model that we do have, so we plan on like charging 7 to 10% of finder's fees. So that means for real estate funds, when we find the customers, then we'll get 7 to 10%. And then additionally, also 0.5% for the AUM. And this is our roadmap. Right now, we're in the process of registration with ADGM, and we have the platform built out, version 1, happy to show that as well. And also, we have talks with one of the REIT. So subject to like the compliance, then they will come and work with us on that one. So next would be our team. My friend Hussein, he used to work at a crypto launchpad and stuff as well, and help with millions of deals there. And me myself have been in the field of startups for more than 6 years. I used to work for several YC startup as the founding engineer. I'm fully focused on this right now, full time. That's about it from our team. Thank you.
Perfect. I'd love to hear from our silent judge, Mert.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is something that I'm very interested in and passionate about. I was chatting about it. Great presentation and great idea. If I do a lot of business with REITs in in Canada and Ontario, and if there is a way for them to access investors in other parts of the world,
yes,
they will be. You've never seen anyone happier than these real estate funds will be if they can access that capital legally in a regulated manner. Sounds like you've thought that through. Sounds like you've talked to your legal advisors to make sure that that's legal. I think you should be marketing this. I think you've already talked to some issuers about this, right? Some funds, some real estate funds.
Yes. Yeah, my co-founder has spoken to one of the REIT right now. So like we're in the process of like closing that. And also, yeah, like the KYC aspect, like we want to also make this like a legal, company, and we want to make sure that, like we are going according to regulations like KYC, AML, like those are things that we have to like fully focus on it, as well as like, being auditable like the platform itself.
Yeah. And if you do that, if you solve that, I think you guys have an amazing business, and those real estate funds they're gonna be the happiest. They're gonna be the happiest people on Christmas.
Yeah.
With the new investors that you're able to bring to them.
Yeah, more money is always good.
Yeah, that's what they need. They need it desperately. So great. I'm here.
Yeah.
Here to help. Here to help you as you develop your business.
Yeah, and also one part of our core strategy is to do the marketing aspect to figure out ways, like a very scalable way to get these people to be onboarded to these REITs. So that's like a very big part of our tech process as well. In addition to making sure that the system can handle this large amount of transactions as well.
And all tokenized, right? This is all
correct. Tokenized, yes.
Oh, thank you. That's a great job. Thank you. All right. I don't have any more questions.
I'd love to know a little bit more about how, or problem discovery. So what led to the focus based on the background of the team? It didn't seem like there was, a specific background of real estate. How did you guys, because I agree with Mert, a lot of clients in the space, some that have been exploring tokenization of real estate for quite some time. But how did you come to the discovery that, real estate was where you wanted to focus?
Yeah, that's a good question. So this idea itself came from my friend Hussein, and we just started on this idea 2 weeks ago. What we both wanted to do is to build like a very big company, and we're testing on this idea first, and he has some connections he can leverage from there. So that's how it came to be. So that's how the original idea got started with. And in terms of the discovery itself, so Hussein has connections with people in Pakistan, emerging countries, me from Asia as well, and a lot of people are investing into crypto and holding them, but it's kind of like sitting there. So we kind of see a way where if we bring this, we're going to test and see how if where they're willing to invest in that. It's basically a new type of asset class, for people who haven't seen this before. So this is like an area we're testing out right now.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Ben or Amy, do you have any questions?
Hey, hi. That was an amazing idea, especially I'm interested in the area. So I'm wondering, how do you ensure liquidity for investors if they want to exit early?
Yeah, so right now we are tokenizing the asset itself, and currently it is not. So the moment that we, so the default would be that for investors, they will come into our platform and then they will, put the money, like the stable coins into it, and they will get like tokenized shares out of it. Right now, like in our flow, to liquidate that process, they would need to come to us and say that, hey, we're gonna shell the shares, and then like we would, trigger the process like outside of the platform itself, and we're gonna do it compliantly. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. So I have another one to go. So how do you hedge against the market downturns in real estate sector, especially Canada? The ups and downs. How do you do that?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So right now, I think like the plan would be for us to learn more about the market, like how it is actually moving, or maybe also seek experts in that field. So yeah, but that's a good question, and we have to look into that.
Sure, you should. Congratulations. Good
Right, thank you. Thanks for your questions.
Can I maybe ask? I like the presentation. Tokenized real estate's a very interesting idea, right? We've seen, a number of people look at this over the years, probably coming more to a right time for it. My humble opinion, at least. I'm curious, maybe a little clarification. When you're talking about like the assets that'll come into the portfolio, is that physical real estate assets, or is that like pieces of REIT portfolios themselves?
Yeah, so they're going to be pieces of REIT portfolio themselves. So they won't be like one house or one office. So to start with, we are actually going with REITs. So we're going to be issuing shares, tokenized shares for people who invest in this REIT. However, like the long-term vision, we would want to also target all kinds of real estate asset classes. Because like our platform, it's going to be able to be easier to switch to that. So it's going to be down into how, if there's a demand for these set of people to invest in those assets. So yeah, right now we are like tokenized REIT, like the shares. And then later on, the long term would be to also encompass all kinds of real assets globally.
And then the tokenization process for that, is it would these are private REITs, or would these be public REITs? And and then you're holding the REIT asset, the REIT shares, in an SPV, and then issuing tokens against that in out of Abu Dhabi, presumably, and then there'll be mint redeem versus the SPV.
Yeah, I think that's something we have to look more into in terms of like the structure of the tokens, like holding itself. So the investors, when they hold these tokens, they won't be able to trade this publicly. So you're going to be keeping them kind of like locked up in the wallet. And then like when they want to transact, they will reach out to us. But in terms of like the legal, like the setup of the regulation is something we're still looking into. And yeah, like that's an area we should focus on.
Great. Excellent questions.
Yeah, thanks for the questions. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I will share, of course, the contact info for all the teams afterwards. But let's get right into the next one. Thank you a lot, DeFi Read. We're going to do a bit of a switch up, snooze up. Our Earth band is actually stuck on a delayed flight to New York right now. So we're going to put him to the end. He should be landing soon, but we'll jump ahead to Open Book. I think they are online and being brought in right now. They're actually with us here at the Toronto office, but they're going to be streaming together from one. Yeah, there we go. Nice Halloween costumes. Can you please share your pitch deck and not your screen? We're getting a bit of an infinite loop there. There we go. That's perfect. Thank you, Camille. If you could test your mic very quickly, and then we can get started.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear us?
We can hear you. We can see you. Let's present and see if the present button works on camera. There we go. Yeah, go ahead. You're all good to go.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. So hey, everyone. We're Open Book ID, an open identification standard for the publishing industry. So if you imagine a book in your hand and you turn it over, you'll find the ISBN. This 13-digit code underpins the entire publishing industry, and it connects authors to publishers, publishers to bookstores, and bookstores to you. But the foundation for the more than $130 billion publishing industry runs today on 1960s infrastructure, and that leads to some issues. So first, we have access. ISBNs use national registries, meaning that where you're born and where you're based can directly impact your ability to publish. Some regions don't even have an ISBN agency, which can lock authors out of the system and impact distribution and discovery. But let's assume for a second that you were born in the right country. Now there's a cost factor. A single ISBN in the US can cost up to $125, and you'll need one for every version of your book. So that's hardcover, softcover, ebook, any other platform, with most titles requiring at least 2 to 3. So this creates an increasing paywall for independent authors, and even publishers that get bulk discounts will still have an increasing cost because they're publishing hundreds to even thousands of titles a week. And this brings us to a third option. So you could get a platform like Amazon to cover the fees for you, and you don't have to worry about the cost anymore, but that does come at the cost of imprint control, portability, and ultimately autonomy over your work, ultimately creating a slow, expensive, and exclusionary system that censors the free flow of ideas. So that's where we come in. Open Book ID is a unified publishing ID standard on Solana that connects creators, registries, and institutions. Essentially, what we do is we eliminate the geographical and financial constraints of the current ISBN system. So with a single click, any author anywhere can generate a unique, verifiable on-chain identity for their creative work. Authors, publishers, and organizations are all able to self-govern, so they'll be able to define their own namespaces, standards, and rules, all while staying connected within the global publishing network. And it's designed to integrate, so we're not looking to replace ISBN, but instead we're looking to extend their standards through OpenBookID, which would ensure compatibility with today's infrastructure while we build for tomorrow. What we want to do is we want to make sure that every work, edition, and update is discoverable on chain. We have a relatively simple roadmap, so we're going to begin by integrating Loomdot, a platform that already supports hundreds of titles and works really closely with authors and publishers on a daily basis. That said, the vision is to expand past publishing and look to any industry that benefits from open identification standards, and we can apply this across IP rights, payouts, and provenance. We're a team of Web3 founders who have deep ties to the arts. Camille's actually a professional jazz musician. So we understand the importance of artistic provenance, and we also see the power of blockchain technology to empower the creators involved in this space. So yeah, what we're looking for is mentors, technical collaborators, and ecosystem partners to help us refine this idea and bring it to life on Solana. Thank you. Also, go Jays.
There we go. Also, go Jays. That's right. Yeah, the game's on like 8 tonight, I think. So we'll have a nice watch party at the Toronto office. Nice. Mert or Max, do you want to go first?
You go for it. Sure. I went first last time.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and it's solving a problem that not a lot of people really think about on a day-to-day basis. But certainly, if you're if you're an author, you're someone who has created something, you want to be able to be easily identified by the public. So I think this is I think that's great. I think in order to better understand, I guess, how the open identification would work. One of the slides mentioned intellectual property rights, provenance. That's an area that I've been following closely. I know that there are projects like Story that are currently working on provenance for IP rights, but how exactly would the open identification model work for intellectual property rights? Like, just I guess walk through like a let's say it's the rights to Mickey Mouse. How exactly would that work?
I think for Viva the product, so we actually only come up with the idea 7 days ago before the deadline of the hackathon. So we try to scope very carefully on what Viva the product should look like. So Viva is really just identification standard, and then the long-term roadmap we plan to include IP rights. So for Viva, how it works is currently we anchored the publication metadata JSON on chain with a compressed NFT through a metaplex, and that whoever, whether it's a company, delegated governance, or they can directly mint on OpenID as an individual, they becomes the owner of the creative work. If they use delegated, for example, a publisher enterprise level, they create their own namespace and standard on the OpenID protocol, then they can have their own governance to control their rights. So so ideally, enterprise customers, they if they want to retain control, they should be able to do that. But the idea is, regardless who is, the control is governed by a company or just as an individual, they're all recognized through the whole network, because Solana is open. It's a censorship-resistant blockchain, and therefore all the work get their public recognition. But what I think is really important is that, like on Loomdao, like the book publishing platform, there like so many authors, they're asking us that we want just blockchain, we want Solana payout directly, but KYC is a thing. But with the open book ID, the open publishing identification standard, we can actually allow the entire transaction to happen on chain. And then, for example, many products that we've built in the past, we actually use Stripe. But when you use Stripe checkout, the company that pays, Stripe handles money in, and then the company themselves, they if they have to pay out, they handle the account payable. But when you're using Stripe Connect, then you pay a fee to Stripe, and then the transaction, the payout process it's automated. So with OpenBookID, since everything is happening on chain, and then a person who minted the dynamic NFT, there's a wallet that is anchored to it. So the entire process can actually be automated and without central control, and therefore it's similar to Stripe Connect, but it's entirely open on a blockchain. That is the immediate thought. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you. You guys did a great job explaining this to me. I got 3 kids, so I haven't read a book in a while. So I don't even remember what these ISBN things look like. But I understood a new problem that I've never thought about before. And I just want to, again, another dumb question for me is like, so if I get like an ebook or like a book through Amazon or even the libraries now, I'll have ebooks. The digital ISBNs that you create, those could be used on any of those like Kindle or any of those ebook platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. The current industry, there's like I mentioned, I think in one of the previous slides, ISBN is super heavily conjugated, and actually, local governments, or depends on where you are, they effectively use ISBN to censor the content. For example, like in India, the ISBN registry is completely delegated by the government, and then you can write things that criticize the government in some respect. For example, I don't like how we're managing household resident-owned gardens. Like I don't like how our garden set up. You can criticize that, but if it's something politically sensitive, then you're in danger. But in terms of distribution, according to your question, is how ISBN works is the government and library, for example, physical book distribution in library and bookstores, they actually, in most of the country, they actually require the ISBN. But for digital platform, it's recommended for platform. There's a consideration in terms of government regulation, but if the regulation is loose, the current process is that the platform can either use ISBN or they have their internal identification standards. So when we're building OpenID, so we want to design the product to be something that all the digital platform, they can just directly adopt to the same standard. Does it kind of make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Hey team, so I think I can go next. Good job. So I think this will create equal platform, equal opportunities for everyone, especially in countries like India, as you mentioned, like without right contacts or network, not everybody can publish a book. So this is going to be really useful. But how are you handling the version control for dynamic publications, like preprint?
Great question. I think that is the charm with Solana and Metaplex. So with Metaplex, they continue to work on their product, but right now on Solana we can first of all, there's how we used to mint NFT on Solana is you set the collection size, but right now with a dynamic NFT, you can have dynamic metadata that you can update, and
I think.
yeah. Okay, cool. We're back. So, in terms of cost, like in terms of how do we mint NFT, we used to set a collection size, but right now with the dynamic NFT, basically the size can be as much as we want. I think currently on Solana there are like more than 21 million NFT minted on Metaplex. OpenBookID, like with their new release, basically it's the collection size is uncapped. Like it doesn't have to be capped. And in terms of how the metadata gets updated is with dynamic NFT, you can have dynamic metadata that can be updatable. And with multi-signature, we set up the governance right. And then, for example, if it's delegated to a company, to a publisher, they can set up their own governance in terms of the authority in terms of updating the metadata.
Yeah, that answered my question. Thank you. And also, like, I have a question regarding the authenticity. People can use other people's work, and how do you verify the authenticity of the publications through your platform?
A very good question. I think that is one of the reasons we want to have organizations like delegated standard on the same protocol. So when we're delegating, they can audit their the authenticity themselves, and then it's also like a mechanic that we can incorporate in the dynamic NFT metadata. So there can be a verified tag, or like we can even set up. I think it's a sensitive topic in terms when we talk about governance, because we really wanted to set this up correctly. So there could potentially be a tombstone mechanism. For example, personally, my wallet has been drained in the past, and if later on we really to release feature that includes IP and payout, and that becomes a huge issue. Like for example, if your wallet gets stolen, gets drained, and then you lose your IP, you lose your published work. So we want to set up the governance correctly, and then have the tombstone feature.
Great. So like, sorry, can I go with another question?
Yeah.
Okay, so as a writer and I mean, as somebody who is willing to publish a book in the future, so I get too many questions in that, but I'll limit to one. So like, there are writers who write with pseudonyms, right? Like different fake names or some random names. How do you handle the verification of process of that?
Like in terms of personal identification, I think like authors using pen name has just been a thing. I mean, if you really want, we can dox your wallet, but we don't have to. Like I think the cool thing with blockchain is you have the ability to write and just do things anonymously. But like when you're producing value, and then you actually get paid directly.
That makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Ben, do you have any questions?
I think there's a lot of good questions that came through already. Yeah, I'll be very open. This is very out of my wheelhouse and seems like a interesting problem to try to solve. I guess maybe my question really is just how big a market is this when we're talking even just like with the book IDs? What?
Yeah, actually, great question. I get asked like about the market size question quite a bit. So like the question like who even reads books these days? Like I do read books, but take me out of the equation. Ebook and physical book market share, they're shrinking. That's true. But audiobook is among the fastest growing sector. Actually, audiobook is actually eating the music and film industry market share. So audiobook market share is projected 10x. So just in the United States, by 2030, audiobook will grow from 2023 to 3.5 billion to 35 billion. And that's just in US. And then the combined with physical and ebook market size will be around 50 billion. But I think the real question is, with AI generated or even just short form content, long-term speaking, is the publishing industry, can it actually stand? So I think my hypothesis and my bet is that it will, because right now AI-generated short-form content is booming, but is it getting saturated? It's getting saturated fast. And what happens when it is actually saturated? There will be a new generation of media framework that supports multi-model media, which meaning. So if you know the ebook structure, it's called EPUB file. It's just HTML in a zip folder. So working in tech and Web3, we've seen the fanciest website. You have interactivity, 3D effects, even VR capable. So the next generation like media will be multi-model, embedded audio, interactivity, and VR capable. And that is being built on So we put. It's another reason that we picked publishing to be the first market to adapt, and then I think that would the new framework will actually change how people consume media forever.
So just to jump in there quickly before we kind of cap off the question. So we did do some research in terms of kind of like where the book industry's at, because like as Camille was saying, it's like we're in this spot right now where it's like if you don't read books, you think no one reads books, and if you do read books, then you're very into it. Based on the growth rates right now, book publishing is supposed to reach about 200 billion by 2030, and that's an increase from about 150 billion right now. There's obviously aggressive growth in ebooks and digital platforms and whatnot. But there has been the kind of this increasing trend since we had COVID and people started to look for like alternatives to do at home and whatnot, and that hasn't teetered off since kind of that time period. So we do think it's kind of one of those interesting things where we can address a legacy issue in an industry that's been a really important part of kind of human culture throughout the years, and it's one of those things where it isn't going anywhere. So if we can provide more open standards that empower artists and creators in this space, that only opens it up more.
That's a good answer. That's a surprisingly large market. And then I'm assuming they're part of like the revenue model has to do with handling bits of payments that go through the ecosystem then.
Cool. Thank you very much, team. Open Book ID team. Thank you for streaming live from the Toronto office.
Thanks, guys.
We haven't heard from Snooze Up yet, so we're gonna keep moving on past Snooze Up. I believe their flight is still being delayed.
So we'll jump right to potentially the last pitch of the day. Just that. Yeah, you're good to go. Pitch the last project today, Avoid.net with Liam or Chadjective. He'll be presenting live from the Toronto Build Station, our super team office. I think you're good to go. The audio is up there. Behind you looks great. Let's go.
Thanks so much. I'm Chadjective, and I built Avoid.net, which is evidence-based prediction markets with economic proof. So the crypto industry has a scam problem, and $41 billion was lost to scams last year. We're trying to address this by making a system where accurate contributors can earn, only quality submissions get published, and community members invest in evidence. Think about this like Wikipedia and WikiLeaks combined with decentralized wagering through Kalshi and Polymarket. The platform UserFlow enables anonymous submissions by anyone who has an email address and useful information that is verifiable that they want to share. After it is submitted, the community backs that information with SOL for quality control. Think of this as a spam barrier where people put up money to assure that information is legit. After admin approval, the information adds proofs and goes on chain. Spam loses money and valuable evidence earns money through tips that are added to the platform and prediction markets, which are added on top of the evidence. Think of this as 3 different layers where people can earn by putting out information that changes people's behavior. People can submit something and figure out if it's true, what might happen because of this. This platform will also enable bounties where organizations can put a small amount of money or a large amount of money on up for grabs so that if people can research into claims and find it, they will accelerate truth finding. In 2007, I found 2 devs who built an iteration of this platform. It reached 66,000 people and 200 pages of community content. Then it was killed by spam. So for this hackathon, we've tried to address the spam issue by putting an economic barrier between a free-for-all posting, which also acts as a social signal for information quality. Imagine that we could warn people just by sharing a URL. Think avoid.net/Luna. Avoid.net/FTX, avoid.net/whatever. The warning is the URL, kind of similar to the way Marshall McLuhan said, the medium is the message. Our go-to-market strategy has 3 waves. First, we address crypto natives and scams. Then we address information professionals to build out the library of content. Finally, we aim to go for consumer purchase decisions and due diligence. We ran an experiment during this hackathon when the Titan Gate experiment, the Titan controversy broke. Within a few hours, we had a page up on our site. And a couple of hours after that, the founder of Titan reached out to us to help improve the information which was being shared about his platform. A little bit about me. I'm a Web3 founder with 15 years of experience building technologies for governments and scaling online communities. We are reaching an age of crypto accountability where every scam can have a permanent address. And we look forward to your questions.
Great. I think we're ready to go. It's the last, looks like the last project. I haven't heard from Snooze Up yet, so they're still stuck in the air. Any judge want to take the first part of this one?
Yeah, I'd love to to ask about how you're thinking about Polymarket and Kalshi, which you mentioned. They've obviously developed a strong foothold in the prediction market space. So what's your moat, I guess, against those two players? Because I think the idea is fantastic. I think like verifiable information, it's a big problem that Polymarket's dealing with right now. Obviously, the UI integration is kind of how they're thinking about solving it. So what do you think your moat is, I guess, with respect to Polymarket and Kalshi?
We might route directly through them.
Gotcha.
Depending on how the infrastructure works. Like we're thinking about this as an experiment to validate, can we stop spam and validate information with quality control and to build a community.
Okay.
But the actual details of how to build a prediction market are a little bit further down the line. And it was suggested to me actually through some of the feedback that we received through this hackathon. And when I was evaluating how much time it would take to build something like that, I knew I couldn't do it in 5 days. And so I'm much more about focusing on community and building a system that allows people to publish this information and share it much more virally. The prediction market is something that we'll evolve and look into later. The regulatory information around that still needs to be resolved. Sure. And we're looking at the space, and big players like Jupiter launched their first prediction market on Solana within the last week. And so we're watching them to figure out what they do and how it actually works. And then we'll be figuring out how we can pivot from there.
Nice. And just so I have an understanding, I guess, the product flow. So someone, let's say, is an insider, they have information that they can, at least they think that they can verify. They would need to post a certain bounty onto or not a bounty, but I guess a fee to the platform as a means to verify the fact that that information is correct.
So the publishing of the information and the escrow are different things.
Oh, okay.
So when you create a page or you submit information, there's an integration through something called TipLink, where we basically attach a wallet to that email address. Okay. But the actual escrow contract is created by the first submitter, the first affirmer of that information.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a little bit abstracted so that there's no actual, well, there is a wallet that is attached to the email address, but that's not on chain until there are tips that actually flow through that or until a prediction market was added on top.
Okay. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Liam, it's a great idea. One thing I know that you've got there's a lot of due diligence involved in when you come out and say avoid. But what I guess the risk, I'm an insurance guy, Max is a lawyer. The risk is a business, a company's going to say you're defaming. Yep. So explain to me the due diligence and the proof you have to say, guys, this is a defamation.
Yes, my legal counsel has been giving me all kinds of advice.
Is your lawyer going to get this guy? I don't think that's suggested that.
So there's a couple of different things here. The way that the information gets posted, first there's an AI check to make sure that things aren't hate speech and that it's not threatening or legally difficult. Then there's the community element, which decentralizes the authority and says, like, it's not one person saying this is going live. Also, the nature of the information that we're hoping to publish is stuff that is already verifiable. So then there's an admin review, which right now is just me, but we would aim to decentralize that to community members in that third step. And they would look and validate whether or not that information is in the news. Is it something that we can actually check and verify? We might also use a whole series of AI elements to scrape different information on chain through various different respective research firms. Think about how Wikipedia validates its information. It's not about what's there, it's about what the references say. And so we've created 3 different layers of accountability to make sure that it's not just a free-for-all for people saying avoid this person, avoid that person. We know that this can be a very powerful and misused tool. And so we're starting with a lot of checks in place, and we're hoping to decentralize those and evolve them as the experiment unfolds.
Great. Great. Ben or Amy, any questions?
Hey, sorry, I lost you for a sec. Like, did you discuss about your revenue model? If not, can you explain me that?
Yeah, so there are, this slide suggests the three of them. So through the current functionality, which is the escrow contract, there's a very small fee that comes out of the validation of the information. The second part is the layer of prediction markets, where we would charge perhaps 2% of the trading volume on the platform. The third pillar would be bounties, where people can say, I'm not sure if I should avoid this platform, do some research to figure out whether or not it's an avoidable thing with evidence, and we would take a fee from that. And then the fourth element would be business-to-business intelligence. Think of this as distributed risk, where companies and due diligence firms could pay for API access that would allow the information posted to the platform and posted through other platforms online to update real-time risk alerts for business risks and due diligence.
Thank you.
One thing I might also add there is, especially while we're growing community, we're being very careful about not being too commercial, because the idea of we want to help spread warnings and protect people and we want to make money are somewhat at odds with each other. And so we're being very, very careful about making sure information quality is very high, and that the sense of community is really protected before we try and monetize and before we try and make money. But we also understand that aligning incentives is really important, and that in order to drive behavior, people seeing what's in it for them is a key driver of behavior. I hope that answers your question.
So I have one more. So how do you scale revenue without diluting the trust? Because this is an ethical concern, right? So ethical growth, how do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, one other method that I've added, or that I'm thinking about in addition to these three pillars and the business-to-business risk intelligence, is around advertising on the platform. Almost every product that we can think of helps you avoid something. Think about Advil helps you avoid headaches. So anytime that you're gaining something, you're also avoiding something. And so smart collaborations with the right types of brands and companies could be an additional fifth pillar of revenue as we scale.
Great, thank you.
Great. Ben, do you want to add anything to that from your side of things, or kind of everything's been answered?
Yeah, I think a lot of my questions have been answered. There's some pretty good questions there and pretty detailed presentation. It's an interesting space you're going after, and challenging to balance the incentives right, but to solve it and have a nice verifiable source of truth on scams that permeate the space. Yeah, that it seems like a valuable service.
Thank you for the feedback.
Great. Thank you very much, Liam. So I just got news from Snooze Up. They are deboarding the plane right now. If the judges are okay with timing, I know we're 5 minutes over the promised allotted time. If you have to go, you have to go. We understand. But if you're able to stay another 15 or so minutes, we could wait for the last team to quickly pull out their laptop after deboarding the plane to present their product. I know they're really excited to present today. Any judges have to leave, just raise your hand and let us know. Otherwise, we will probably wait about 3 minutes, take a small break, and then we'll take our last team and then just closing remarks. Everybody's okay with that? Okay, cool. Sound good? Sounds good to me. Thanks, everybody. Be back in 5 minutes.
We've unmuted.
Hi,
Hello.
Arfan. Thank you so much for joining us from the airplane.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Sorry for the delay. It literally wasn't my fault.
I understand. Yeah, let's blame the airlines.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you look good. Your audio seems okay. Your connection's kind of coming in and out. But let's wrap up this demo day. You're the caboose coming in to close us out. So let's go with Snooze Up.
Thank you so much. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Irfan, co-founder and CEO of Snooze Up. 3 years ago, I lost my father to a brain aneurysm. He was an active person. He had a good diet, but he never had a healthy sleep routine. Something his doctor said was a main factor. When I dug deeper, I learned that nearly 2/3 of all deaths globally are due to non-communicable diseases. Many linked to habits like poor sleep habit, inactivity, and bad diets. That realization inspired me to build a Snooze Up, a platform that helps people to take control of their health by rewarding consistency with real tangible incentives. So we all know what it takes to be healthier: sleep more, move often, eat better. But people don't stay consistent because the rewards feel too far away. Snooze Up closes that gap by financially incentivizing healthy routines. Users join weekly challenges, track their sleep and activity, and earn a reward for being consistent. It transfers from something played and difficult into something gamified and instantly rewarding. The opportunity is massive. $158 billion project global fitness app by 2030, 90 billion potential gaming, and 20 billion potential play to earn money. Our go-to-market strategy starts with crypto-native users who understand the ecosystem and expands to health-conscious individual and remote workers. Our revenue comes from weekly subscription fees, where 90% goes back to the winners and 10% supports the platform, along with ads and brand collaboration. We chose Solana because it's the most consumer-friendly ecosystem, fast, efficient, and affordable. Its ultra low fees and strong developer community make it ideal for handling high-frequency small transactions like daily challenge rewards. Compared to other apps in this sector, Snooze Up offers something different. We combine stablecoin rewards, a focus on both sleep and activity, and a sustainable revenue model, not one that depends on speculative token inflation. Our low barrier to entry and behavior-driven design makes Snooze Up accessible, perfect to adopt real-world users, not just crypto players. Our team brings diverse experience from different sectors. I come from the finance world and co-founded Function Land before. I've been in this market for 8 years. I'm a Techstars alumni, Offline Rangers alumni. Mariam's from Ford Motors, someone's from Flexen, and Nova's from Tracking. Our roadmap includes raffle pools, adding raffle pools, launching AI-powered wellness guidance, and introducing corporate wellness pools, expanding a Snooze Up into a complete lifestyle ecosystem by end of 2026. We've already achieved more than 5,000 downloads, over 200 weekly active users, and over 100K in annual recurring revenue, supported by partnerships with Super Team Canada and Metropolitan University of Toronto. At Snooze Up, we're redefining wellness, making consistency rewarding and health empowering. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Irfan. Do you mind muting yourself while we ask the questions? You got a little bit of background noise from the airport there. But yes, thank you for the presentation. Do we have any takers? Last project of the day.
I saw on the deck about some controls around cheating to stop people from cheating, about how healthy they're being. How do you stop people from cheating?
So we get the data from your mobile phone, and we have some metrics that we can kind of, from that data we can understand if the user is cheating. For example, for their activity data, you can manually add data in your phone but it shows a very big spike in the time, the time sensitive matter. So from the data, we can understand if they're cheating. As for the sleep, right now, we're getting the sleep technically duration manually, but we're partnering with some fitness wearables, and by getting the data from those fitness wearables, it's going to be accurate, and technically we can avoid cheating.
Good that you thought about that. That was great. Thanks.
So I think you just answered my question. Like one of my main ones was how are you? Yeah, how are you? But so you're partnering with some wearables right now. All the data is being pulled in via manual entry in phone apps, or?
So the activity data we're getting automatically from your phone. So from the health app on your phone, if you have iPhone Health, if you have Android, either Samsung Health or whatever health application that comes with your phone, we get it from that. But for the sleep data, we initially started getting those data automatically from the same application, but they were not accurate at all. So we decided to switch to manual for now and make it more gamified. So right now users have to come to the application every morning to input their wake up time, and every night to input their sleep time. So it makes the users more interactive with the app. But as soon as we integrate with those fitness trackers, we can make the price pools for those fitness trackers more incentivized, so users users prefer to go to those pools, and then we can get the data automatically from the trackers.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Can you talk a little bit about how the incentive pools work? Is it like across everybody in the platform? Do you build small teams with like friends? Like, how does that work?
No, it's universal. So we have right now we have two main pools. One is USDC and one is USDT. And users by choice they choose which pool they want to technically subscribe to, and they pay, for example, 10 USDC. They subscribe to the USDC price pool for the week, and our challenges are weekly. For example, 100 people subscribe, $1,000 is going to be accumulated in that pool. We take 10%, 90% goes back to the winner. So, for example, out of that 100 people, let's say 50 going to finish the challenges for the whole duration of the week, and $900 going to get divided between 50. So $18 goes to those winners' wallets.
Any last questions from the judges? No. I think we're good. Thank you, Irfan. Good job, guys.
Thank you so much, and again, sorry for the delay.
That's okay. It wasn't your fault. Fib, are we ready for closing remarks?
Yes, let's switch up the layout, please. Eric's on. All right, well, while we're switching up the layout, I would like to say congratulations to all of the teams who submitted to Coliseum from Canada and from all of the countries around the globe. Your progress and the effort that goes into this is massive. It's a great sprint, and congratulations on submitting. Yay. And thank you, of course, to our judges. Thank you so much for joining us. Your insight and wisdom and quality questions are excellent. Thank you for being with us today. And to our sponsors, Toronto Business Development Center, our community sponsor, TBDC, as well as Perps Redmond Limited, who also sponsored a prize track. Please keep an eye out for the announcement of winners in the coming weeks, coming days. And kudos to all of the teams who participated in the Spark North Accelerate program. This was the Cypherpunk cohort as well as the first cohort of the program. So congratulations on being the first cohort to graduate as of today. You will be receiving a card says that you've graduated, that you can post or use however you wish. And otherwise, thank you so much to my team, Super Team Canada. They've been a huge help. They've stepped up, and altogether, I'm very happy with how far the teams have come. Ben and Simon, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And with that, we will close it out.
Let's go Blue Jays.
Let's go Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
Thank you, everybody.
It was also World Series. Yeah.